Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the recast of Round 9 from the Budds Creek National. It is the MX Simulator National of Budds Creek, Round 9 of 12 in the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship. This is a recast of it because 2 weeks ago when the race happened, I was sick, so unfortunately I had to miss the race. Therefore, we are going to recast it tonight. We're also recasting it tonight because the Portuguese Grand Prix that was actually supposed to happen tonight, there are server issues currently, so that race has been postponed. So why not? Let's go ahead. We already got a lot of people that were in chat ready to watch the Portuguese race. Let's go ahead and recast Budds tonight, and let's watch Adam Holmes show us around the track here with an atom.com hot lap around this track. So out of that first corner, a little left-hand 180 up over this step-up jump after the Studio 8 hole shot award. It's going to go left, and then this long turning roller section all the way down the hill as Holmes scrubs it into the finish line jump and then lays it over that finish line jump. I think it might be, I'm trying to remember if there's a finish line jump that comes faster after the start. But eventually you just go right onto lap 2 here. Little left-right kink up the hill, long right-handed sweeper to the top of the hill, then hard on the brakes over the top of that hill and to the left side here. So left and then a long left back into a long right, and this right just keeps going right-handed off-camber corner all the way up to the far end of the circuit here. Left takes you back down the hill, this big drop-off, step-down triple, and then hard on the brakes through the braking bumps here. Little roller feeds you into the inside option here for home. Nice little scrub of the table here back into the center of the track down by the pond. And then a right-hand turn takes you back up again to the top of the hill. They did not use a specific portion of the track after this triple uphill. They went straight on. This year, when the rainfalls made this corner pretty much impossible to use, the dozers couldn't even get there. So we're going to use it here tonight because they obviously did not have rain in the game for the race 2 weeks ago. I'm going to drag us back down the hill and then up to what is now basically called the Four Randas, the Dillon Quad, whatever you want to call it. But for Randas, they added 4 jumps to this uphill in real life this year, but obviously it was called Big Gulp before that, so Holm just hits the Big Gulp triple, little roller up to the top, left hand, big table, then a long drive all the way down to one of the most iconic hills in all of motocross, Henry Hill. Doug Henry made that jump famous by launching all the way to about here from that hill and landing very hard, breaking his back. And it was a very violent crash, but fortunately Henry would recover and go on to win the 1998 national title. But as we continue on with Holm here down past the mechanics area, that's a lap here at Budds Creek. And thank you guys again for joining back in with us. I know that it's been a bit of a weird situation here tonight with racing. It was going on at Agueda, and then they had server issues, so that is why that race has now been postponed. But we're going to stick with you guys and keep broadcasting here because that's what we do on Start Your Systems. I had my night free already because I was going to be broadcasting the race. I was planning on rebroadcasting this Budds Creek National tomorrow. Again, just a reminder, I was sick when this race happened a couple weeks back. I was supposed to actually do a recast of it before the race last Wednesday, but I tried to stream too much in a 2-day span and lost my voice, so I didn't really have it before that Ironman National last week. But we're going to talk about Budds Creek and what happened there. Not going to talk about the championship picture because it's completely changed since then. But here's what it looked like going into Budds Creek for the qualifying times. Alexis Leclerc was your fastest qualifier in the 450 class at a 156.6. But look at that, Braden Carter 156.64. So only 8 1,000ths of a second separated their top times, and then a 156.8 out of Colby Eaglin, so very, very close in the 450 class. And if we go to the 250 class, it was Payson Johnson, Nathan Prynne, Logan Leitzel, Jack Haley, Thomas Wilcox. And a reminder, this is when Nathan Prynne was still leading the championship and Johnson was doing all the chasing. We now know that things have switched a little bit, but this was leading into that. So not going to waste any of your guys' time anymore. Let's jump straight into 250 Moto number 1. I've already got them loaded up on the gate. This is a demo of it, so we're just rewatching the whole race all the way through. I'm going to talk about it, going to break down everything that's happening, and make sure I got all these set up correctly. Let's get 250 Moto 2 on here and get our moto timer going, and let's drop the gate here at Budds Creek. Thanks guys so much for joining us tonight. Sorry for the delayed race at Agueda, but hopefully this fills the void very nicely as we go racing here for round 9 at Budds Creek. And lo and behold, it is the 42 of Nathan Prynne that leads him in and out of the first corner. A big pile up on the outside. A lot of riders way off the track. but it's going to be Nathan Prince picking up the Studio 8 Hole Shot Award. He's got Payson Johnson right behind him. So it's Johnson and Prin 1 and 2 here at Budds Creek. And this is the recast of it. This race happened, 11 days ago now. So anybody that's watching this broadcast, this is not live. This is 11 days ago that this happened. Might even have some of the racers that raced in this race show up on this broadcast and let us know some of their thoughts from the racing action that happened that specific day. But early on here in 250 Moto 1, Nathan Prin has hole shot and Payson Johnson's right behind him. This is critical championship-wise for these two as well. They were pretty close in points at this stage of the series. So Prin down off the hill with Johnson right behind him. Got Wilcox, Leitzel, Garrett inside of the top 5. Light's already trying to square up, go the inside there. James Wilcox just ahead. And as it is a recast and this intense action isn't necessarily happening live, I do try to interact with the chat a lot more than I normally do on a race night. So if you guys are in chat hanging out and you've got some topics we want to talk about and discuss, I'm all ears. Always fun to interact with you guys on race nights. Also cover this race a little bit. Again, 250 Moto 1, going to go 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and then we'll jump over to 450 Moto 1. Early on, though, Prin ahead of Johnson. We'll go on board with Johnson's perspective here and get a look at what he is seeing in the early runnings of this. Remember, the times at the top are very close between Prin and Johnson at this particular round. Got KR Money, got Braden Carter showing up in chat. Good to see a lot of you guys tuning back in after we had the postponement of the Portuguese Grand Prix earlier tonight. Giuliano, Derek Jones, ITZMB, Matthew Cook, Lucas King, V-Psych, Invincible Membrane. Thank you guys all for coming back. Tyson Parliament is here as well as we rewatch the Budds Creek National in MX Simulator. Payson Johnson has Nathan Prin right in front of him, and those two are already starting to separate from the rest of the field. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these guys. I actually don't know what happened in this race. I never did go back and look at the results. I literally was asleep when this race was happening because I was very ill at the time. So this is news to me. I'm curious what's going to happen here, actually. Prin versus Johnson out front. Oh, Nathan Prin scrubs that jump so hard. And Johnson might have an inside move here before the off-camber, but Prin throws it in there. And Johnson doesn't have a response. Now he does. Prin blows the inside right and Johnson to the lead. Simple as that. Now the question is, can Prin get him back? Tyson Parliament says, what are your thoughts on the new CRF 250? I mean, I have not ridden it nor actually seen it in person myself, so I can't speak to it in that side. But from what I've seen, what I've read, what I've heard, etc., you know, it's the improvement that Honda had always kind of needed from a chassis standpoint. And, you know, their power department, they're also trying to get a little bit more horsepower out of that stock 250 to kind of compare with the Yamaha and get a little bit more low to mid on that bike. It always seemed like their top end was pretty good, but they didn't quite have the same grunt that the YZ250Fs have out of a corner, so I heard good things about that. Sounds like the ergonomics of the frame makes it a little bit more nimble than the modern Honda 250s. So I think it's all good things, and I think it's the right time for them to introduce a new 250F with the Lawrence brothers, and particularly Jet Lawrence being kind of their headliner in the 250 class, because they can debut a new bike with, you know, arguably the best 250 rider currently. So it gives them a good starting point with that bike, and they don't have to, you know, go out on the track with maybe a team of riders that aren't going to develop it or push it to its limits, if you will. And the Lawrence brothers both have already rode it in stock trim, and they were pretty happy with it as well. So, I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're going to get a new bike and all that, that is going to help maybe both of them contend for titles in the next couple of years. Back to the action out front, though. Johnson's starting to creep away from Prin here, 5 minutes into the moto. Back in third, it is still James Wilcox. He's held up nicely in this battle. with Seth Garrett in 4th, and now Cole Gress moving into the top 5. Alec Horn runs in 6th. It's 7th for Thomas Wilcox, 8th for Maxime Vanderbeek. Cooper Hunt running in 9th with Logan Leitzel, rounding out the top 10. So your perennial front runners seem to all be somewhere in the mix out front. Not necessarily the best of starts for these two guys, Hunt and Leitzel. I think they were hoping to maybe be battling towards the actual lead of the race, as Leitzel around the outside makes that pass on Hunt, and down at the bottom of the hill was Thomas Wilcox. He's going to get passed by a couple people. Brandon Nygren tried to get up the inside there, but everybody's still kind of figuring out early positions and where they're going to go as Johnson continues to lead this race. Derek Jones says Lawrence or Cooper for 250s. I mean, in this specific championship, it's a great title fight. I mean, honestly, of all the things that are going to come out of this year, I feel like this is one of the more memorable title fights that we'll have for some time. If you actually go back and look through the history books, like in the last decade, basically, of like how close titles were, like, yes, we did have some standout ones like Trey Kennard and Porcel in 2010 was crazy. And then you had the PC guys going at it for a little bit there as well. And then J Mart and Marvin Muscan were a little bit close in 2015. But realistically speaking, the 250 class doesn't often see a title fight go like right to the end and this close for that matter as well. So I think for fans, this is awesome to have those guys still just 11 points apart. If you have to ask me who's going to win the title right this second, I would say Jet, just because he has the momentum. Cooper's been battling an illness. Seems like he's a little bit off his game. And I feel like Jet is better at Fox Raceway. So this is going to be a huge weekend, because if Jet wins this weekend, like if he goes 1-1 at Fox Raceway this weekend, he puts himself in a position where Cooper, I mean, the point swing has to be so massive at the last round that it almost puts it out of reach already at that point. You know, like let's say Jet goes 1-1, Cooper goes, 2-3. That's a 8-point gain right there, so it's a 19-point advantage for Jet going into Hangtown. I mean, Cooper basically needs to win with Jet finishing, 7th, 8th, or 9th or worse in back-to-back motos. Long shot at that point, so I would put it in Jet's court at the moment. Johnson from Prin still getting away. Johnson has just slowly been gapping out over Prin. Now Leitzel and Hunt have both worked their way up to 5th and 6th respectively, so they're charging through the field nicely. Alec Horn right here is in 6th. Thomas Wilcox, or in 7th, I should say, for Horns. Wilcox in 8th. Cole Gress back to 9th, and Lane Wofford now rounds out your top 10. Vanderbeek 11th. Luke Sullivan in 12th. Brandon Nygren back here in 13th. Blake O'Brien coming down the hill, P14. Fitzpatrick in 15th. Cade Matherly back here in 16th. 17th, Dylan Love. 18th is Trevin Thompson. 19th for Ryan Pinkerton. And 20th is Ethan Gerst. They're all still chasing Pace and Johnson. What's our closest battle to keep an eye on here? Maybe Leitzel v. Vanderbeek. That's a good one. Cole Gress, Alec Horn. Ooh, here's a good one. Lane Wofford with Alec Horn just ahead of him. Luke Sullivan behind him. These guys are all almost nose to tail. They're actually maybe starting to run up on the group ahead of them. Also, what is up? Abused in my rocket. How you doing tonight, buddy? Good to see you guys hanging out in chat. Hopefully everybody's having a good time tonight, wherever you are. Oh, that was, is that Gress? I think that is Cole Gress going down. Yes, it is. Got swapped a little sideways at the bottom of the hill there, and that is going to put him a ways back now, coming up to 10 minutes on to 250 Moto 1. There's still lots of time for him to gain that back, but when you're in a good position early on, it always sucks to lose 7 or 8 positions in a blink of an eye like that. Yeah, Mason Sharp says, what do you think of the show Jet has been putting on in his second year of nationals. He just retracted the message actually, but yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have someone like Jet in our sport. Like I don't know. I feel like there's a mixed age group of you guys where, like, TikTok is definitely popular among the age group of people that watch my videos. Just saying. I know that some of you guys will say, "Oh, I don't like TikTok" or whatever, but it's definitely true. And you know, Jet has definitely hit that market very well. If you go to his TikTok page, like he makes some weird videos, for example, but he's super popular because of it. And that's why when you go to the races, there's all these like teenage girls like fanboying hard over him. So having someone like him in our sport to be a top level talent at a young age, still, he just turned 18, doing the things that he's doing, marketing the way he's done it, and winning races and maybe winning a title. It's like the total package. It's like what pretty much everybody in our industry looks for when they're trying to sign the next great kid, you know, like someone that's trying to sign like Ryder DiFrancesco right now or something like that is hoping he becomes as personable and as well liked and as popular as Jet Lawrence has become. And like Hayden Deegan obviously will come down the road as well, and he will be very similar to Jet Lawrence in that respect, where he has this sort of transcendent popularity. But it's great for our sport. It's great to have these figures in our sport that almost go beyond the bounds of just, you know, the little niche motocross industry that we have, and reach out to some fans and some people that are not always in-depthly tuned with what's happening in the racing scene and more care about the riders or, you know, being a fan of one particular person or something like that. So it's great having Jet in our sport, I think. Back to our leaders now, 12 minutes in. 250 Moto 1 here at the recasted Budds Creek National. Payson Johnson still leads, and he has continued to extend that lead. Nathan Prynne putting down low 2 minutes, 2:03 that time by, but he's 18 seconds off the lead, and Johnson has just been creeping away from him the whole time. James Wilcox still back here in third. Seth Garrett still runs in fourth, so these guys are having great rides, and now Cooper Hunt moved to fifth after we saw that mistake out of Leitzel that cost him a few spots. Now he's battling with Vanderbeek for sixth, and their battle looks like it is about to reach a bit of a fever pitch here. Who is going to make the move and either get away in Vanderbeek's case or get around in Leitzel's case? Up alongside over the finish line jump, Vanderbeek has to short it because he's off track. And Leitzel is going to get around the Belgian. So Leitzel continues on. Also, shout out to Greed J. First of all, he said, "What up, Kellen? How are you, bro? I hope you have a good night and blessed night." Well, first of all, thank you, sir. I'm doing very well. I appreciate the nice comment. And hopefully you have a great night as well. And then he also donated $1 and then $2 in chat and says, "I hope you enjoy your night. We need to play Sim." Absolutely. Hit me up on Discord. You can join the SYS Discord if you haven't already by going to startyoursystems.com. There's a link to our Discord in there that you can always join us in there and reach out to me. I'm usually online on Discord and respond to messages and such, but not always just in the chats hanging out or anything like that. But definitely hit me up. Definitely do a sim session or two every now and again. So I appreciate the donations. So we look through the rest of the top 10. Everybody's kind of spread out still as we creep up to the 15-minute mark of this race. It's almost halfway through 250 Moto 1. And as we are halfway through, it's time for a top 20 rundown brought to you by atom.com. Head over to atom.com today and check out his music line, his merch line, and all the things he's got going on over there. Adam Holm has long been a part of the MX Simulator community and has been a great support for all of us over the years, so we hope that you guys support him in his future endeavors. So please check out atom.com today. Payson Johnson on the underground RC number 1 machine leads here at Budds Creek. In 250 moto number 1, Nathan Print, I should say, sits in second. On the number 42, Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM. His teammate James Wilcox on the 74 runs in third. Seth Garrett comes through in fourth. Privateer effort out here on a Suzuki on the number 43. And fifth is Cooper Hunt on the Underground RC number 38. Sixth for Logan Leitzel on the Underground RC number 13. Seventh, Maxime Vanderbeek on the motorsport.com number 51. Is that a number 50? I thought he was number 50. Oh, well, he's wearing number 51, but he's actually number 70. Also known as, I think he's number 72. Yeah, so he's all over the board here. Anyway, he's in sixth. Seventh for Thomas Wilcox on the number 33, Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM with C4Designs.co support. Just ahead of Cooper Hunt now has drifted back to 8th. So Hunt back to 8th on number 38, Underground RC Cowie. 9th for Lane Wofford on the Boots House 181. And 10th now, Neil Fitzpatrick, Proline Designs number 71. 11th is Luke Sullivan, Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM number 18. 12th for Cade Matherly on the number 100 Stance Honda. 13th for Trevor Burns on the number 50 Underground RC Cowie. 15th, Blake O'Brien, the OVO 167. 16th, I think, Alec Horn, but he's getting up from a crash. Yeah, so Jaden Wilson, actually, it's up to 15th now, Jaden Wilson on the number 65 Privateer effort, but it looks like he's on his Covenant Honda there. Trevor Thompson, Cyber Designs 151, runs in 16th. 17th is Alec Horn on the 310 mobgraphics.com Honda. 18th around the outside comes Ethan Gerst. He's going to move up to 17th and maybe 16th and then almost crash and get 17th out of it on the number 58 Privateer effort. 19th is Cole Gress on the Yogi 143. And 20th for Brandon Nygren on the atom.com number 150. That's been a top 20 rundown here at Budds Creek, brought to you by atom.com. And moving into 20th place now is Dylan Love. Proline Designs 174. All right, let's peek back out front. Anything changed? Nope. Payson Johnson is gone. Closest battle looks like maybe... What else? We got Wofford and Hunt pretty close maybe. Let's go on board Lane Wofford. Give the guy a little bit of love here on the Boots House Honda. Inverted Relic says, hey Kellen, I just started playing MX Sim. Any advice for me? Jumps especially since I keep getting kicked over the front. So the key to not getting kicked over the front on jumps is simply learning to always give a little bit of a lean back on every single jump. I know it's like a super hard thing to consciously always do, but you always have to be up on that stick in this game. You have to be constantly moving your rider into the right position. Every single jump these guys go off of, they always flick it back a little bit. You can see right there, Wofford, he's going up the face of the jump. He's leaned off the front of the bike a little bit, and then suddenly the front end kicks out like that. So the front end is kicking out because he is leaning back on the bike. Lean back. Every single jump, a little bit of a lean back here, little lean back here and there on the jump will allow the front end to stay high. It gives you leverage, so even if you lean back too hard and you start getting kicked backwards, like you're starting to backflip, you can always brake tap and try to get the momentum to stop, lean forward on the front of the bike. It's very hard to stop a forward rotation, so always be focused on at least getting that little pop off the jump like you're seeing right there. But also, if you're curious on more tips and tricks, please head over to startyoursystems.com. We have a whole tutorial series on very basic stuff in the game. How to attack ruts, how to go through braking bumps, how to do starts. Different things like that we did many years ago that still hold true. So definitely go over there and check it out. Lane, by the way, is using the FXR gear. I believe this is one of their new 2022 FXR series lines. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so hitting jumps, not getting kicked over the bars, that's my tip. You gotta, honestly, you gotta lean back on almost every jump. It's so hard to get used to. I understand it. It's one of those things that when I picked up Sim, I used to just play the stock JLV Supercross tracks because they never kicked you. And so I hated playing outdoor tracks and stuff like that because every jump kicked you over the bars and it was so annoying. And eventually I got used to it. It takes time. That is my biggest tip to anybody that picks up this game for the first time is, like, please don't pick it up and be like, awesome, in like 10 hours I'll be shredding this game. Like, it is so not the truth. You need a lot of hours. I was probably 100 or 2 hours into the game before I was even doing consistent laps, and thousands of hours into the game before I raced pro. So, yeah, that's my advice over the day. Luke Sully's here tonight, says he wants to be back hopefully on Wednesday. Looking to pick up a career number. Yeah, we missed Sullivan at the, basically all last week Sullivan wasn't here, obviously. So hopefully we'll see him back on Wednesday night at Fox 2. Still looking at the recast, though, of Buds right now, and almost 21 minutes into this moto, Payson Johnson is absolutely gone at the front. Nathan Prynne is 42 seconds about down on him. And Seth Garrett's moved up to third. He's gotten around James Wilcox, so well done. Seth Garrett, the number 43 ride. Privateer Life out here on the Suzuki. Let's actually zoom in and see if we can see who's sponsoring that bike here tonight. Give them a little love. SPR on board with him on this Suzuki. So shout out the SPR program for backing Seth Garrett. Looks like that's also the logo he's got on the back of his jersey there. Yeah, so inverted, I know that it sounds like I'm telling you to seat bounce every jump by always leaning back, but what I'm actually telling you to do is not seat bounce every jump, and instead, like right when you take off of the jump, like just as you like almost leave the ramp, lean back, like a little kick back. It does not even like all the way back. It's like a half-hearted lean back on the stick. That's why I say like you have to be so fluid with your motions on the stick and like get used to, you almost have to feel connected to the bike in the game. It sounds weird, but the second you start understanding those little movements and stuff like that, you'll pick it up naturally quicker than you realize. It just sucks that right now, obviously, you're going through the frustration of every time you make a mistake, you get kicked over the bars. And believe me, I feel that. So you just got to practice, man. Just got to practice. Brady54 says, can you make another MX Bikes whips video? I'm actually going to make in the off-season, I have a plan to make like a whole MX Bikes tutorial series similar to the MX Simulator tutorial series that I've had, because I get a lot of questions about how to do stuff in MX Bikes, and I always want to be able to tell you guys that stuff in video form so it's easier to understand. So I think that's going to be coming in the off-season. Little Dino says, welp, looks like I have to wait until next Monday to battle Payson for the title. And Little Dino, I'm guessing, is Cooper Hunt, who entered tonight tied with Payson Johnson in the GP standings. If you're just now joining us, the MX Simulator Grand Prix of Portugal has been delayed. They're having server issues that unfortunately has now caused the whole racing evening to be halted. Hence why we are recasting the Budds Creek National, which was a race I needed to get recasted anyway. I wasn't here for it a week and a half ago when I was sick. So we're catching up on some of the streams that we missed out on, and doing so while missing out on Portugal tonight. Unfortunately, that's just the situation we're in. Absolutely inverted. Glad I could help. What is up, Otis B. Driftwood? Appreciate that. I love being on racetracks, honestly. It's still a dream come true that I get to be a part of that. So thanks for the kind words. Rider down. That's Seth Garrett. No, Seth Garrett, who is running in third. Is that third that he's coughed up? Yes, it is. Leitzel has now moved into third place in this race. 6 minutes still to go. So Seth Garrett's actually going to remount, only about 5 seconds off of him, as Wilcox now settles back into fourth, and here comes Garrett in fifth. That's a bummer for Seth Garrett. He's riding really well. You got Cooper Hunt still back here in sixth. Lane Wofford seventh. Vanderbeek in eighth. Trevor Burns coming up the hill is in ninth. And Neil Fitzpatrick behind him in 10th. And then Luke Sullivan, who's just in chat with us here, back in 11th right now. So he is trying to work his way into the top 10 before 250 Moto 1 wraps up here at Budds Creek. Neil Fitzpatrick is his target He wants to get around that number 71 machine if he can. This is a close fight, though. Sullivan is definitely putting the heat on Fitzpatrick. As we get into the latter stages of this race, yellow flag is out. Is there a rider down on the other side of this hill? There is. Is it for position? No, but that was for position. That was Trevor Burns. So that just moved Luke Sullivan up to 10th. Now he's battling for 9th, trying to get up to Fitzpatrick here. All the while, Payson Johnson, where is he? He is about to lap 14th place, but he just went down, actually. If you joined us last week for the Ironman National, you may have caught Payson Johnson lapping the entire field. It's the first time that's ever happened in MX Simulator history, as far as we know. The stat heads had gone through. Alex Kerr and the team there gave it a look and came back and found out that there's a couple times that riders had lapped into the top 5, but we believe that is the only time the entire field has been lapped. So Payson Johnson, a record-setting night at Ironman a week ago. Fitzpatrick just went down. That allowed Sullivan to go by. Come on, KR, don't ever delete your coverage. It's always great to have multiple people doing coverage. I mean, you were the one that live streamed it. People watched you live. They're just watching me recast it like an idiot. Gotta leave it up, buddy. Back to our leader, Payson Johnson, though, with 3 minutes still on the clock. He is still so far out in front. 38.1 second lead. It's always, I feel like I bring this up way too often, but every time we come to Budds Creek, it always just reminds me, it takes me back to the only moto I ever won as a pro in this game, 450 Moto 1 at Budds Creek in 2014. Beat defending champion Zach Dupuis. Lexus Leclerc was in that race. I felt pretty darn good about myself as Johnson lands on a down rider, but continues on. And I just remember every time I watch a lap on this track and on board with Johnson here, it takes me back to the last lap of the race when I was in the lead by like 25 seconds. I had a pretty good margin. I was sweating bullets. My hands were tensed up. It was probably the worst looking lap I've ever ridden in my life in this game. And the off-camber corner that was cut off in real life on this track, I crashed in that corner on the last lap in the lead. I went from a 25-second lead down to a 15-second lead and full panic mode after that, obviously. And I crashed pretty much because I was so tense I couldn't react when my front end barely slid out. So I just barely slid out and then immediately fell down. And I was like freaking out the whole time, but picked it up and fortunately held on to win that moto. My crowning achievement. And then, yes, as KR Money rightly points out in chat, I did not go on to podium that day. Second moto, crashed in the first turn, was coming down the hill before the big gulp in 25th, passed to 24th at the bottom of the hill, and then Jordan Vanderlee did not let off at all at the bottom of the hill. T-boned me and like 6 other guys. So I ended up I crossed the line 38th at the end of the first lap in the second moto after winning the first moto. Charged all the way back to 13th, but ended up 6th overall. And the overall that day went to Cody Penwell, who went 2-7. I think it's the only time someone has finished 7th in a moto and won the overall. And he didn't win either moto. It was one of the weirdest days, I think, ever. Pretty darn weird when I win a moto, so that's definitely true. All right, Johnson gonna creep up here to 10 seconds left on the clock, so 2-lap board gonna come out next time by. Luke Soley says, for me, streaming the races every week, it's impressive to me you can do this. I would go insane if I did this. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, but also, I mean, I've always really enjoyed doing these streams and calling these races. Like, I've wanted to call motocross races my entire life, so it's kind of like living out a little bit of a virtual dream in that sense. But also, I've done it for so long. I mean, the first ever broadcast I was a part of in MX Simulator was the 2012 High Point National. I sat in and was one of the color commentators that entire night. And ever since then, I've been a part of the broadcast crew every single year. I streamed all of it in 2013, some of it in 2014, and then from 2015 onwards, we've streamed every single round pretty much. So you just get used to it, I guess. I mean, yeah, it can be a little tenuous and repetitive to do the same stuff and talk about the same riders over and over again or what have you, but for me, it's fun. It's an awesome way to connect with you guys, the community still, and hopefully I do a good enough job that you guys still kind of like having me around. With 2 laps still to go, though, Nathan Prin just crossed 2-lap board out for him. Logan Leitzel now coming up here in 3rd, and James Wilcox has slipped back to 4th. Seth Garrett now in 5th. Is that Wofford right behind him? No, that's Will Clark, excuse me. Cooper Hunt now 6th, and Sullivan off the side of the track here in 7th. And does not have the pressure from behind there, Noah McLaughlin. But Luke Sullivan, who's also in chat hanging out with us tonight. Good to have him here. Trying to hold off Lane Wofford in the closing stages of this one. White flag is about to wave, though. Johnson on Henry Hill here. Trying to read your guys' chat questions, though. Tucker Francis says, it's crazy how alike the real life and Sim 250 championships are. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of an interesting common theme we've run into in this game over the years. I don't know why, but it seems like you have very similar dynamics in the 450 and 250 class in this game. Not always, but sometimes at least it has happened to what happens in real life. I don't know why it happens that way or what have you, but definitely have seen it happen over the years. Sullivan says, I've only rage quit 3 motos and outdoors, all been at Budds Creek, 1 this year and 2 last year. And yeah, I understand that just with me streaming the motos, I race and then get bored during 450. Yeah, I mean, I get it. So when I raced, I always hung around for all the motos, and actually kind of enjoyed watching the 450 guys if I was in the 250 class or vice versa, because it gave me like a, you know, I guess like an option to ride differently. So if I was in the 250 class and I saw how 450 guys approach the corners and stuff like that, I would sometimes even mimic that in my second moto. And in the 450 class, if I see a 250 guy doing something that I hadn't picked up on all practice, you know, qualifying times, I would start doing that as well. So, you know, I've always kind of enjoyed watching both and learning from both and being a part of the, you know, community for 450 and 250 as well. So, but I can see why if you get bored watching the 450 class, why it would be tough to always stream the races. Yeah, I did see Payson go down, but I mean, his lead is massive. Yeah, Cade Matherly also asks, hey, Kellen, why don't you do interviews after the races? And Caramoney and Tucker Francis hit the nail pretty much right on the head. I've had people on my streams before when we do ride days or whatever say some things they really shouldn't, that I don't condone. I don't want to be part of my broadcast, but they're in my Discord just shouting stuff. And I had to mute those sections of those videos back then, and it's a pain in the butt to do that, but it doesn't sit well with me that I give these people the opportunity to express themselves or give them a platform to talk to a lot of people sometimes, and they choose to treat it that way. And while I don't think everybody in the sim community would be that way, or actually I don't think most people in the sim community would be that way, there are some bad eggs out there. As Payson Johnson comes down to the flag, and Payson Johnson is going to take Moto 1 here at Budds Creek. Johnson way, way out front in this one. Nathan Prince still a long ways to go here in second. But yeah, back to that sentiment. I mean, I don't want to have someone come in the chat room and I ask them how the race was, and you know, they just start F this and F that because they finished second. They thought they should have won or something like that, and I can't control that, you know. I can ban them and make them never do it again, I guess, but that doesn't really, you know, help me in the moment, and I'm trying not to get my channel clipped or, you know, demonetized or any of this stuff. So unfortunately, I have to kind of err on the side of safety there and not do it. I have done interviews post-race in the past, though. I've welcomed, you know, Carter this year, Braden Carter, when he won the Supercross title. I welcomed him on the broadcast right after he won the title. We interviewed him. We talked to him about his race and everything like that. I like doing that because I can kind of pre-plan it. Like, I can make sure, like, hey, talk to the rider beforehand and just say, please don't do this. Please don't say that. Don't, you know, make an ass of yourself and me. But, you know, on the spur of the moment, like, oh, I don't know, who's won their first race recently, I guess, would be, you know, a big one to talk about. You know, like, he wouldn't do this, but if Luke Magnetti won his first race, I've never talked to him before, and he comes in and starts saying a bunch of stuff he shouldn't, like, I mean, I can't plan for that stuff, you know, it sucks. So Cooper ended up 7th in this one. Wofford will be 8th, Neil Fitzpatrick 9th. Jaden Wilson rounds out the top 10, it looks like. Vanderbeek 11th, Trevor Burns was 12th, 13th, first rider a lap down was Wilcox, 14th for Cade Matherly, 14th Alec Horn, 15th for Seth Shirley, 16th for Seth Shirley, 17th Ethan Gerst, 18th Jack Allen, 19th Braden Tharp, and 20th was Trevin Thompson. We wait for one rider to cross and get cuts. There we go. Anything shifted? Yes, looks like, is that Jaden Wilson? Yes, getting around Neil Fitzpatrick for 9th. And the rest stayed the same. All right, that is 250 Moto 1 here at Budds Creek. Let's go ahead and load up Allcrest so that I can reset the track. Oh, I mean, I don't doubt it would be awesome to have personalities on the stream, Cade. Like, 1000% if I wasn't that nervous about... Here's the real crux of the problem, right? Is that YouTube... Like, the 3 strikes and you're out rule is, like, so annoyingly strict with YouTube that, like, it doesn't matter if I've done 5,000 videos that were all well produced and organized, and there's one guy or 2 guys that screwed up for me. I don't want to end up on 1 strike because someone drops a bunch of N-bombs or something stupid on my stream, and then 2 strikes because someone comes in and starts, like, saying things they really shouldn't say, and suddenly I'm on 2 strikes after like 3 weeks because I have these people come in and say that. Should they be shunned from the community for saying stuff like that? Absolutely, but I don't want to take that risk. Like, I can't be their dad, you know? So, it is what it is. This is round 9, Dallas. We're recasting it right now. So we're loading up 450 Moto 1 right now. Actually, did I just press the wrong moto? Damn it. If it's 250 Moto 2, we'll just run with it. I remembered, KR. Don't worry. I reset the track. Don't have to get mad at me. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Tucker. Payson had the points lead. Print took it. Now Payson has it again. In real life, Lawrence had the points lead. Cooper had it. Now Lawrence has it again. Yeah, I mean, it's... You're spot on there. And it's funny, too, how it's an American and a foreign rider. Justin Cooper and Jet Lawrence from Australia, and then in this case, Payson Johnson from the U.S. and Nathan Prynne from France. Like, it's just really odd sometimes how it works out like that. I do not organize these events, Nathan. The event is organized by RaceFactoryGaming.com. Jeremy Cohenauer, Tyler Lang, they work together on creating all these events and organizing them and running them and working with the Race Factory Gaming track crew to help make these tracks. They are the ones that are doing all the real work, honestly. I am just here streaming these actual races that when they happen, trying to make it all look good. But they're the ones doing the real behind-the-scenes job. Yeah, I mean that's awesome, Luke. I would have loved to interview you as well. I mean, maybe it's a policy I need to think about changing or trying to do something different with. But also there's like the little bit of the task too that's difficult for me to manage, that I'm the producer, the broadcaster, the announcer, all 9 yards, right? So like to then make sure that I get you guys in my Discord and be able to pull you in and all of that, like it's also like one extra step that I have to do. Which again, I'm now just kind of complaining about really minute stuff, but you know, it adds up. So all right, I did load up 250 Moto 2 by mistake, so we're gonna just go ahead and run 250 Moto 2 right now and then do 450 Motos back to back. But 250 Moto 2 now set to go. I forgot to do the Moto timer. Gotta put that up real quick. Here we go, though. Once again, from Budds Creek, the recasted Budds Creek National. And the first turn, it looks like it is Vanderbeek running deep, though. Up the inside as it fills KTM, pushing his teammate Print out. It's going to be Thomas Wilcox picking up the Studio 8 Whole Shot Award. You got Johnson on the 1. He's right there in the mix as well. Pretty clean start. Only saw one rider maybe slide out, one of the atom.com Cowies up the inside, but mostly everybody got through clean as Wilcox leads from Prin. Prin right there in second place on the 42. And in third early on is Wofford on the 181. Good start for him. Suddenly I don't see Johnson. I wonder if he went down. Boy, that would be a huge detriment for him after dominating that first moto. Now Wilcox goes down, gives Prin the lead. So Prin working through here at the top. Now goes to the front. Budds Creek Moto 2 of the 250 class. So Prin from Wofford, Seth Shirley, Johnson now fourth, Dyer Wilson fifth, Fitzpatrick, Hunt, Vanderbeek, Tharp, Gatlin, Nygren, Thompson, Love, Wilcox, Shields, Matherly, Tomasunis, Gerst, Post, Leitzel, Wickland, Clark, Burns, Wilcox, Swanson, McLaughlin, Sund, Gress, Melton, Pinkerton, Alec Horn, Seth Harnishfeger, Luke Sullivan. Oh, bad start. Can see why he maybe rage quit this one. Hayden Stevenson, Seth Carr, Colton Hansen, Tyler Smith, Garrett, Seth Garrett, SPR. Is that what that really stands for? Poor Luke Sullivan, bad start. Hate to see it. Thank you, Colby Rutland says, hey, love your vids. Hey, love you for loving my vids, buddy. Thank you so much. So Prin out front leading here as he drops down off the top of the hill and carrying a ton of speed down past the mechanics area. Ira Wilson there. Shirley Hunt now moves up to third. Vanderbeek, Tharp, Gatlin, Thompson, Nygren, Wilcox, Matherly, Gerst, and then Johnson. So Johnson must have went down. He wasn't about fourth. Now he's back to 13th. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Luke, too, that maybe we get KR money involved and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe we could make something like that happen. I always just assumed as well, and I could be wrong, that if and whenever I do decide to quote-unquote hang up the microphone in MX Sim, that KR would be the man to take over. I feel like he's in the prime position to do so. So he's just kind of waiting in the wings. Waiting for me to retire. He's like, get out of here, old man. Time for me to take over. Johnson going to try to get at the inside of Matherly. Swinging wide was one of the atom.com Cowies. Not sure if that's Shirley or Nygren, but I think Johnson got around him anyway. Now working on Matherly. Up the inside. This is going to be a good move. Nicely done. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that kind sentiment. Says, love the streams. Keep up the good work. I will do my best. Oh, Johnson, Scrub City, cross jump as well. Bobbing and weaving through these guys a little bit. Oh, stand up was at Gatland off the side of the track, and that was Vanderbeek that got cross jumped by Johnson. That was very close. Now he's caught up to Thomas Wilcox and the 151 of Trevin Thompson. Oh, Wilcox and Johnson nearly coming to blows right there. Very close between those two. So now they go through the turning rollers. Coming off the top here, and Trevin Thompson trying to hold steady ahead. One of the best to ever do it in the 250 class. Crossover line for Johnson at the top of the hill, and Thompson into the back of him. So Johnson able to stay up. A little bit of cross jumping there. Not going to sit well, I would imagine, with Thompson, especially going down. But for Johnson, he is going to pull away. Meanwhile, Dyer Wilson. Is this Jaden Wilson? Why does he go by Dyer? Or Dior? Is that his actual name? And Jaden is like his middle name or something like that? Anyhow, he is now taking over the race lead. Cooper Hunt now moves up to second as Prin, who was leading, slides back to third. So the Frenchman must have gone down. For clarity's sake, those of you that are saying don't retire, Wilson Fleming. I mean, I don't have any intentions to, sim-wise, for now. But there are so many new doors and opportunities being opened up in MX bikes. I've had people lay out some stuff for me to stream, like Supercross 4 and MXGP 2020 and stuff like that. There's only so many nights that I can devote to streaming, and I love sim and I love the community, and I'm always going to be here for them as long as I possibly can. But I also don't want to miss out on some of these opportunities as those games become maybe a little bit more, you know, I guess relevant is the right word than sim. Because sim, I mean, we've said it's been dying since like 2014, 2013. And it's been on a slow decline. Like, it hasn't necessarily pulled in the new players that it used to. But I'm plenty happy because we still have a very strong community of very good racers every year. So that's why it keeps bringing me back to stream and promote the races and the events and stuff like that. But I also understand that at some point it is going to fizzle out. So that's why I don't want to sell myself short if these opportunities are coming up, you know. Oh, so Dior is the name he uses in Discord. Got it. I still don't get it, actually. I don't know where Dior comes from. Dior? Dyer? Dale? Is that Dale out there? Tell you what, he's doing it for Dale. Or doing it for Dyer. What he's not doing anymore, though, is leading the race. He has certainly lost touch with whatever he had at the front. And has gone down. Prin has gone back to the front. So now it's Prin from Hunt. Seth Shirley. And now Payson Johnson already up into 4th. So from 13th on the second lap to 4th on lap 5. And Johnson trying to go 1-1 here again. We're doing well, Jack Clancy. How are you doing today? Alex R says, is MX Simulator similar feel to MX Bikes? I would not say they are similar feel at all. They have very different physics models with both of them. I guess, if anything, the similar feel they have is they are both dirt bike games. Oh, snap. Sullivan says, what if he switched up and started using his first name and not his middle? I don't know what his first name is. Prin went down out of the lead, and that promotes Cooper Hunt to the front. So Cooper Hunt has taken over the race lead. Not for long. He goes down after the finish line jump. So Prin went down, Hunt went down. Now Seth Shirley has taken over the race lead here at Budds Creek. But Payson Johnson is quickly trying to go around the outside and take it away from him. And around the outside to take it away from him, he will do. Johnson back to the lead again. Let me guess Luke Sullivan's first name here real quick. I'm going to be way off probably. Because he goes by Luke Sullivan, I'm assuming he doesn't love his first name. Or maybe he does and just likes going by Luke so that people don't know his real first name. So I hate, like, throwing it under the bus, but I feel like your first name is like a name that isn't very common anymore, or like an old-timey name, like a Martin or a George, something like that. Like, one of the weird phenomenons, as Prin goes back to the lead, Johnson went down. But one of the weird phenomenons that maybe people don't know is that Adam Cianciarulo's first name is not Adam, it's Michael. And Cooper Webb's first name is not Cooper, it's Paul. So we could have Paul Webb versus Michael Cianciarulo if they went by their first names, but they do not. And not sure why either of them don't go by their first names. But it's just the reality. It's a good battle here, though. Prin and Johnson kind of exchanging crashes, if you will, at this point. Gone back and forth a little bit with that. Johnson has been so good here today, though. It seems like it's a matter of time. But Prin has been pretty good at responding to Johnson's pace throughout the year. And now Johnson goes down, and now Prin goes down. They both go down. So Shirley is going to go back to the lead. Cooper Hunt now moves to second. Prin will remount third. Leitzel gets around his teammate Johnson to move to fourth, and Vanderbeek is right there in sixth as well behind Johnson, who now settles into fifth. So Sullivan says, nah, I don't mind it. I have always just gone by Luke IRL. Even my parents named me, so I used my middle name. They just like how my first name sounded before my middle. Oh, okay. Maybe it's something that goes like well with Luke then, like Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I'm shooting in the dark at this point. What does it start with? Start there, I guess. Am I seeing what, Joshua Chisholm Jr.? I am seeing your messages. Pierre-Luc is actually pretty good too. But I feel like we're all going French with it because is it normally like Jean-Luc or Pierre-Luc, L-U-C version of Luke, not L-U-K? Robert Luke Sullivan. Interesting. Robert Luke instead of Luke Robert. Oh, man. Seth Shirley and Cooper Hunt absolutely getting in a fist fight here out front as they battle for the lead here at Budds Creek. Nathan Prin sneaking back into the picture as well. Robert Sullivan. Old Bob Sullivan. Hey, I mean, we did have a Robert win a 250 Supercross title in this game, so maybe you could become the second Robert ever to do it. And if anybody can tell me which Robert that was, you will receive one cookie. Although KR Money is going to blow this out of the water. He knows who I'm talking about. And now a mistake out of Shirley has put Cooper Hunt into the lead. Cooper Hunt now ahead of Prin, and Shirley drops back to third. Logan Leitzel and Johnson coming into the fray. Man, this is quite the race here at Budds Creek. No one told me it was going to be this good. As Johnson up the inside moves into fourth on Leitzel. And the battle for the lead is intensifying. Robert Seidler. Thanks, Kyle Rob. You're the real one, you know. Ryder Rob. Yes, Kyle Rob is correct. It was Robert Nash, 2013 250 East champion. Now races Mazda sports cars, I believe. I think that's still what he's doing. As we continue to watch this close battle for the lead here at Budds Creek, Cooper Hunt leads. Luke Sullivan is right on his heels. Who is going to come out victorious in this one? As they go through the turning rollers. Look at Prin crossing back over, scrubbing hard to get to the outside. Not quite able to get a nose in there just yet, but now he's going to try to cut way inside at the bottom of the hill. That didn't work either. Cooper Hunt just holds it on around the outside, and for the time being retains the race lead. Halfway point in this one, but I am not going to go do a top 20 rundown because these guys are just absolutely going at it. Don't want to miss out on any of this intense action. I absolutely do know who Hayden Deegan is. It's kind of my job to know who Hayden Deegan is, I feel like. Man, look at this. Johnson has crept into the picture. Oh, big one for Hunt, but he landed it. So he's going to stay right on the back of this battle. But now Prin to the front, Johnson right behind him. This is a battle for the overall win as well. Ryder down, Prin has to take evasive action, and Johnson goes to the lead. So Prin scrubs the bejesus out of that table, and he's trying to close up on the one. Oh, look at Prin up the inside. If he just hooked that rut maybe a tiny bit better, he would have had him. Yes, Luke Sullivan, you have indeed disconnected from this moto. It says you're 44 seconds down in 30 something or another. 34th or something. So Johnson now to the lead here at Budds Creek. And is this going to be a repeat of Moto 1 where Johnson to the lead at Budds Creek turns into Johnson dominating Budds Creek? At one point pulled almost a 45-second advantage in the first moto. Tailored it down a little bit at the end. Only won by like 35 seconds. But clearly he was on another level, and now he's trying to sprint away from Nathan Prin. So let's go ahead and give you guys that top 20 rundown here at Budds Creek. Moto 2 of the 250 class. Payson Johnson is leading the way, and it's all brought to you by R Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com. That's EATRJERKY.com. And use the code SYS20. That's SYS20 for 20% off your order. You too can buy some sweet, delicious beef jerky. Savor it while you're sitting here at your desk and talking to me about this race tonight. And you can all enjoy that with 20% off your order. Do it. Why are you not already doing it? I can hear that you're about to type it into your keyboard and haven't done it yet. Honestly, why have you not done it? So head over to eatrjerky.com today. Payson Johnson leads on the Underground RC number 1. He's now got a 2-second advantage on Nathan Prin. The Phil's KTM number 42 machine. Peace out, Luke Sullivan. He's heading out for the night. Might be back Wednesday, if not racing. We'll stop by the stream. Cooper Hunt runs in third on the Underground RC number 38. Fourth for Seth Shirley on the atom.com number 441. Fifth for Logan Leitzel, Underground RC number 13. Sixth for Thomas Wilcox on the number 33 Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM with C4Designs.co. Seventh Maxime Vanderbeek on the motorsport.com, number 72. 8th is Cade Matherly on the number 100 Stance Honda. 9th for Jack Gatland on the number 369 BPC Yamaha. And Ethan Gerst on the Privateer Effort, number 58, rounds out the top 10. Oh, James Wilcox battling for 11th. Oh, that is Jaden Wilson going up the inside and absolutely tossing him to the ground right there. So Jaden Wilson takes over 11th. Privateer Effort on the number 65 machine. 12th now, Trevin Thompson on the 151 Cyber Designs Honda. So 13th now, James Wilcox on the Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM, number 74. 14th for Tyler Shields, Stool Bend, number 777. 15th for Lane Wofford on the Boots House, 181. 16th for Trevor Burns, Underground RC, number 50. 17th is Nick Tomasunis on the MXsoccer.com, number 999. Oh, getting kicked around a little bit. 18th for Brayden Tharp on the Phil's KTM, number 415. 19th for Alec Horn on the mobgraphics.com, number 310. And 20th, Dylan Love, Proline Designs, number 174. That has been a top 20 rundown brought to you by R Jerky. So Johnson now creeping away, and we got a new man in second place, Cooper Hunt, taking over second place here. So the 38 Underground RC Cowie moves into P2. Still seeing you guys talk in chat. Tucker Francis says, do you know if they are changing the IRL track for Paula? As far as I know, they're only making some minor changes from what we saw at round 1. So don't expect a ton different. I think a lot of the track is still going to kind of be the same look and feel. If anything, they may not have changed anything, honestly. But I don't think they're revamping the whole track or anything like that. So don't expect that. Battle for second continues. Cooper Hunt, a little wide there. Nathan Prynne crossing over. Comes to blows, but Hunt pushes him wide. Prynne back up the inside. Hunt gets a nose in there and just shoves the 42 machine out of the way. So Prynne getting sideways, trying to regroup there. That was a little bit of fun right there. Back and forth action. Got a little dicey between those two. Dang, Joshua Chisholm catching a 7-pound bass today. Look at him go. Jumping off the top of the hill. Prynne getting a little sideways, trying to run Hunt back down. Oh, nice whip there for Prynne. Crossing back over. Swinging to the outside. Hunt is just holding steady, though. He is not allowed Prynne to get up there and ruffle his feathers just yet, but this might be his opportunity. Prynne swoops around from the outside and makes a pass. Hunt goes right back in. Absolutely plows Nathan Prynne. He had zero intention of making that corner, and I'm not sure why. That was a fun race up until that point, and I don't know what initiated that. But Hunt, no holds barred, crossing over was Prynne, and Hunt just went straight for the jugular. So Leitzel now goes up into second place because of that. And Prynne drops back to third. Hunt now remounts fourth. They're still all chasing. Pace and Johnson out front, though. And he's got almost a 20-second lead already. So by halfway, Johnson was just taking the lead. Now 23 and a half minutes in, he's 20 seconds out front. Goes to show where his head is at currently. Though I really shouldn't say currently because this is a week and a half ago, but shows where his head was at a week and a half ago. So go back to Cooper Hunt. That's a good question. Tucker Francis says, any team orders this early for Underground RC? I don't believe so. Especially because Hunt has been in a title fight all year in the GPs with his teammate Johnson. So, like, he would maybe be against Johnson, if anything, a little bit. And he also was a little bit in this title fight earlier in the year. It almost makes me wonder if there was something that happened not even at this round, but a few rounds, ago, within the last few rounds, that Hunt and Prin got together, and that was what started this whole debacle, maybe. Oh, is that Prin down? Yes, it was. Nathan Prin down at the bottom of Henry Hill. So he picks it back up now behind Hunt. Has to chase Hunt down. We got a rider down coming down the hill here, but I don't see an actual rider down. This is the NA series, and catch you later, Joshua. Have a good night. So Johnson, 22 seconds ahead of Leitzel. Cooper Hunt now will be the next rider to try to catch Leitzel, and then Prin about 2 seconds back of Hunt. A little further back, it's Wilcox still holding down 5th, but maybe not for long because here comes Maxime Vanderbeek. Vanderbeek right there putting the pressure on the 33. And rider down. Was that Prin? Yes, it was. Nathan Prin. So this is a little indication of maybe where the implosion was starting to happen. We saw at Ironman Nathan Prin falling apart. He was dealing with lag there, but this is also a bit of falling apart. He had an opportunity to maybe win this race today, but also at the very least go 2-2 and limit the damage. Now falls back to 6th in this second moto. And we still have some ways to go here. Still 3 minutes on the clock. So what is going to happen in this one? This is quite interesting to see what's going on with Nathan Prin as he tries to run Maxime Vanderbeek back down again. Vanderbeek now running in 5th. Seth Shirley only about 3 seconds back. Lurking in the shadows, Cade Matherly, Jaden Wilson, James Wilcox still inside the top 10. But it does seem like Prin closing up on Vanderbeek is what we want to keep an eye on here. See whether or not the 42 machine can make something happen. Vanderbeek outside, and Prin just going to scoot right on by. So Nathan Prin back inside the top 5. Could this be a late moto ascent back into a good position? How much hours do I have on MX Sim? Gosh, I wish I could answer that question. I really do. If I had to guess, like, I mean, I really don't even know. I would say somewhere in like the 4,000 to 5,000 hour range, though, which I could be dead wrong, and that might be over exaggerating it. But man, I've opened this game so many times. Yeah, it's tough to tell you exactly. It is so inspirational, Dad Shoes. Thank you so much. How you doing, Overturf? Yeah. Maybe I don't want to know how many hours I have in this game. Maybe I don't want it to be on Steam and tell me how much of my life I've put away playing this game. Back to our race leader, though, with 45 seconds left on the clock. So, time will expire this time by for Johnson, which means the 2-lap board will be out next time by. 3 to go currently. Man, my comment about Dad Shoes has gotten blown out of proportion, I think. I thought of your name because it was like the only name I could think of. I think what I really wanted to say was McChicken. And for those of you that don't know this, I did like a mini rant on my Twitch channel like 2 or 3 months ago, where I basically said that I think it's like a little silly to go by gamer tags when you have live announcing going on. And I get it. I get that some people have like legitimately cool names. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like if you had like a nickname like Vapor or something gnarly like that, Zeus, whatever. Those are kind of cool gamer names, So like I get it when like there's a CS:GO or a COD match in an esport league where they're announcing these guys' names, and I argue about this all the time with my buddy Todd, who's an esports photographer, and he thinks that the gamer tags to know those guys is cool. I think it's a little bit weird. I would rather their real names. But in that whole conversation, I just brought up Dad Shoes, who's a fantastic MX Bikes rider, as like a weird one to say, like, what if all these guys, right? This league was making a lot of money for a lot of people. The top player was making a few $100,000. Me as a streamer was making pretty good money too. And on top of that, we ended up on a major network or something like that. You really want to be known as Dad Shoes if we were on NBC or ESPN or something like that? I'm just saying. That was my only point with it. I would not want to be known as Osari, which is my gamer tag. I don't even think it's like that weird of a gamer tag, but I would not want to be known as that. And maybe that's just me. $5,000 hours counting stream time or just riding? I mean, honestly, probably just riding. And then on top of that, stream time is ridiculous at this point too. But yeah, like riding wise, I put a lot into this game. You want to be known as Mr. Shoes instead of Mr. Overturf. Okay, fair point. Now whenever we stream, I'm calling you Mr. Shoes. Get over it. I'm not going to call you Dad Shoes. That's funny. All right, I believe white flag is coming out this time by for Payson Johnson. And indeed, it is 1 lap to go here. Which, by the way, I want to give a little credit real quick to the modeled flagger, which forever used to be, I think, JLV's grandfather or uncle or something like that. I love this modeled flagger much better. Look at this. The flag waving is immaculate. He is so intently focused on waving that white flag. Look at him. His head is barely moving. I mean, that's just impressive. The 30-second card guy has been standing here with the 30-second board since he moved off the track. I mean, just the focus level is insane out of these guys. The track crew means all business here. As Johnson is about to make his way to a 1-1 performance here at Budds Creek. I did see your comment, Tucker. I thought I had responded about the idea of like team tactics or something like that. Oh, sorry, I had something in my eye there. All right. Probably getting that massive L out of my eye after I just made myself sound like an idiot talking about gamer tags. As Payson Johnson's got a few corners left to navigate, and he will be your winner here tonight at Budds Creek. Or should I say your winner here well, I was going to say 3 weeks ago, but it was actually about 2 weeks ago now. As Johnson brings it down to the flag, and wouldn't you know it, the defending champion goes 1-1 here at Budds Creek. Logan Leitzel will come through to take second in this one. Nathan Prynn found his way all the way back to third, which I believe will salvage a second place overall for him. We'll have to look at official results after this moto. But a good on Prynn to recover there. So through the roller section we go. Prynn down to the flag, gonna end up third in this one. It'll be fourth potentially for Maxime Vanderbeek. He is trying to keep Cade Matherly at bay. Cade Matherly up inside of the top 5, looking for one of his best results of his career. And might still have a shot at fourth, but he's got to be careful because he does not want to lose this spot to Wilcox, who gets into the top blocks and goes down. So in the end, it will indeed be Maxime Vanderbeek coming down to the flag. He'll end up in fourth. Fifth will go to Matherly. Sixth will end up being Wilcox, so he stays where he was. Seventh, Seth Shirley battling to the flag with Cooper Hunt getting a little wayward there. So up and over the finish line jumps Seth Shirley, ends up 7th. 8th for Cooper Hunt. Jack Gatlin will get 9th. Ethan Gerst 10th. 11th, James Wilcox. 12th will be Jaden Wilson. 13th for Wofford. 14th for Trevin Thompson. 15th for Trevor Burns, potentially. I don't know, they're going to come to the flag here. Shields was 16th. Tomasunis 17th. Dylan Love 18th. 113 of Blake Wickland, I believe, 19th. And the 415 of Tharp was 20th as Burnsy around the outside. Trevin Thompson doesn't have a single response there. Oh, but Burns goes down before the flag, and Thompson ends up in 14th. 15th, Burns, Shields, Tomasunis, Love, Wickland, and Tharp. As my wife and daughter walk in, good night. Yes, I love you too. Yeah? Are you reading a book? Really? Are you reading a fun book? Good night, Holly. Mwah. All right, cuts are in. Let's take a look. Tomasunis jumps to 16th around Shields. Wofford gets 12th around Wilson. Cooper Hunt gets 7th around Seth Shirley. And Payson Johnson confirmed as your winner here tonight at Budds Creek. All right, let us move to the 450 class. Load up Allcrest real quick to reset the track. And when we get the 450 class loaded up, we'll also take a look at the overall results from the 250 class at Budds Creek. All right, playback race, 450 Moto 1. Later, Dallas. Have a good night, dude. Thanks so much for all the support. RaceFactory Gaming. Gotta go to events. NA, Budds Creek. And results. And 250 motocross overall. So Johnson 1-1 gets the win. It was Leitzel who went 3-2 for second. Prin 2-3 for third. Vanderbeek 11-4 for fourth. And a 7-7 out of Cooper Hunt gets fifth on the day. So the scores most certainly were scattered. Matherly 14-5 ends up seventh. A 13-6 out of Wilcox gets him eighth. A 4-11 out of James Wilcox. So actually, fourth place was a dead tie. It basically was just better second moto score. A 6:33 for Sullivan. Obviously, remember, he did not finish the second moto. So a bit scattered results there. As we jump back in, get ready for 450 Moto 1 coming up. Interestingly, sometimes, yes, I can understand. I mean, we both can. My wife and I can understand when she wants something. Because of her tone, though, not because of what she's saying. Right now, she really only says dada, mama, kind of like screams or yelps every now and then, but they're never like mad screams. They're just like funny screams. But she isn't really saying full words or sentences yet. But based on her tone, like if she's, just playing, we know she's pretty happy. We can hear when she's happy. If she needs food or something like that, her tone will get a little bit more like blunt, I guess would be the right way to put it. Like she's very like kind of upset almost. So you can kind of tell stuff like that. Garka wants to know what my first person setup is. I will go ahead and show you that in just a moment once we load in. Loaded in, but let's go ahead and show you my first person setup. So my height, well, first of all, field of view 110. My height is 1, so it's all the way turned up. My angle is 25, so pretty much right on line with the 110 here. And then the gimbal is 50. So the gimbal is just like how, basically stabilization, more or less. Watch out for the Hubbard Larry loop out Moto 2 of 450s. Okay. Is that on the start or what? All right, let's go ahead and get ready to drop the gate here in the 450 class. Turn on the moto timer and press play on the demo. So thanks again, guys, for joining us. Hopefully you've had fun tonight. We still have 2 more races to go, and we're going to get it started with 450 Moto 1 here from Budds Creek. Looking up at Eaglin on the inside. He's going to be in a pretty good spot, but everybody got on the brakes pretty well. Tucking up the inside was Magnetti. He nearly got a nose in there, but it's going to be Jeremy Cohenauer actually ripping the whole shot on the 63. He's riding Castaneda's bike. No, it is Castaneda actually getting the whole shot. Sorry. Cohenauer, I thought, had the whole shot, but it was Castaneda picking up the Studio 8 whole shot award. Lang goes right to the front, though. And remember, at this stage in the championship, Lang and Leclerc, they were still pretty close. So Lang trying to pick up some crucial points at Budds Creek. Got Blakely with a good start. I don't see Leclerc yet. He's 21st. Actually, 22nd, excuse me. So Leclerc in some early troubles as his championship counterpart getting away out front. Lang off the top of the hill. Castaneda now settles in. Alongside of him, though, is Chase Blakely. Chase Donovan on the 73 also in the mix. Rider down on the inside. That was one of the underground RC Cowies. I don't know who. It might have been Caleb Hall. Blakely a nice scrub there. Round the outside, Braden Carter trying to get to the inside of Blakely here at the top of the hill. Who's going to get the better drive to the bottom? Blakely launched a little bit farther. So Carter has to check up. He's going to try to go far inside here at the bottom. Might get a double pass out of it. Nearly going to go 3 wide up the big gulp. Triley's at the top of the hill. And Carter does indeed get that pass done. That was pretty incredible for the 19. So Carter makes a couple quick moves, finds his way up to second. They're still obviously chasing T-Lang as Lang tries to stretch it out early in this one. Already has about a 4 or 5 second lead, it looks like. 3.4, same thing. Lang gonna lead at the end of lap 2, technically speaking. And Carter gonna follow suit right behind him. Then you got Blakely, Castellaneta, Cohenauer, and Donovan inside of the top 5. Zach Fisher, Bill Ward Jr., aka Reed Young, and Alexis Leclerc going around the outside of D Mills. So Leclerc making a quick move right there. The 62 of Robert Wilson also into the picture as Leclerc trying to make a couple more quick passes, getting onto Reed Young there. And Zach Fisher on the 161, but a mistake for Leclerc, and then down went Reed Young. Oh, Leclerc getting blocked a little bit there by Zach Fisher trying to make a move. Fisher riding pretty good defensive race here so far. Allowing D Mills to stay right in the picture there on the 15. Now Mills around the outside. Actually going to get to the inside of Leclerc and pass the Frenchman, but Leclerc back up the inside. Kind of reading Mills like a book right there. Goes back around the 15. Now Leclerc trying to go one line further inside of Zach Fisher to get up on the inside of Big Gulp, and dualies up the hill again. Absolute tosses being sent out across the board in this 450 class early on. Guys came to play as Donovan goes down. It's a rough spot. Going up Henry Hill is going to take a little bit to get going, and then loses a lot of momentum coming up the hill as well. Nothing worse than a fall-off crash where you roll for a long time and then you get up a hill, because then you have no drive and you rolled for a while. I mean, those crashes can end up being like 15, 16 second deficits. Looks like change to the lead. Lang went down. Thank you, Ryan G in chat. Sorry I missed that. But indeed, Braden Carter has gone to the point. So Carter from Blakely, then Lang. 3 different manufacturers represented up here inside the top 3. So Carter, Blakely, Lang, Castellaneta now 4th, Cohenauer 5th, and then Leclerc already coming through in 6th. Let's get an early lap time check. 2029 Leclerc, 2 flat 0.7, 2 flat dead. Lang was able to run a 2 flat 0.2, I should say. Carter down at the bottom of the hill, so Blakely's going to go by. Lang will go through. Will Castellaneta get there? Just not quite. He's now going to come into fray behind, and then you got Cohenauer with Leclerc coming up the hill as well. That is very funny synchrony. Leclerc up the right side of Henry Hill. Dropping down, trying to get to the inside of Cohenauer, and is going to do so. So Leclerc moves up inside the top 5. Oh, mistake for Castaneda. Leclerc, I think, trying to avoid him, maybe got a little sideways. Now Castaneda dealing with pressure from Konauer as Leclerc moves his way up into 4th. Next up for him will be Carter. Meanwhile, Lang just goes down. He had caught Blakely and then tucks a front end. So Carter goes by. Lang is trying to get going before Leclerc gets there. He will do so, but just barely. Now the defending champ is all over the number 14 machine. So what does Leclerc have for his championship counterpart here? Is he going to try to size up a quick pass? Is he going to stalk him and they're both going to try to push towards the front? Oh, Lang getting kicked a little sideways coming off the top there, but kind of just turns it into a impromptu oppo whip. Leclerc is just inching right up behind him there. Oh, here it is. Leclerc alongside on Henry Hill. Going a little bit longer, trying to get to the inside. Lang trying to defend. Pushes to the outside. And somehow maintains the spot. Oh, it got dicey in there. But Lang does not want to let him go, but now he goes down. Lang over the bars. And Leclerc into 3rd. Lang gonna allow Castaneda through. There goes Carter and one of the Huskies, Louis Crimson, aka Jack. No, sorry, not Jack Haley. That is Daniel Mills. So Carter was one of the ones to go through. Castaneda as well. Now Leclerc moves up to 2nd behind Chase Blakely. And gosh, we still have so much of this race left to go. Leclerc looked like he was way out of this one, and we're not even 10 minutes in. He's knocking on the door for a chance to take the lead before long if Blakely runs into some problems. Meanwhile, Carter working on Castaneda here for 3rd. Happened to Carter? He must have gone down. Yeah, he did. Lap 6 or 9, Leclerc barks the leap. Let's see. Lap 6. Oh, he barks the leap all right. Oh, and he still makes the corner. Hold on. We got to get an onboard replay of that. So Leclerc, you know, barking the leap. Oh, filthy. And made the corner. That's nuts. All right, let's go back to where we were. A little further up than that. Maybe here. I like how Leclerc drops in perfect timing to say that too. You've been sitting here the whole time, Leclerc. Don't you try to fool me. Trying to be sneaky. But seriously though, that's a huck. Rider down. Was that Blakely? No, that was a lapped rider. Did hear a bike off the inside though. So Leclerc, while barking the leap, did a 57.4. I think he's going pretty fast. I'll have to check with my sources though. I'll get back to you guys on that. Oh, he did it again and goes down. Oh, man, Leclerc pushing one too far. So he gets up now right behind Lang, and that is going to create a fantastic battle for us. They are 12 seconds off Blakely out front. And yeah, if you guys are in chat are confused, that's because this is a rebroadcasted race. So this is not live action. These guys are not currently racing like this. This happened a week and a half ago. I was sick, so I needed to make up this race. The Portuguese Grand Prix got canceled tonight. So I'm using tonight to make it up as Lang is getting kicked all around. But that is why Leclerc is in here. Telling you guys that he is barking the leap. 13.1 seconds is the gap between Leclerc and Blakely out front. Here is Chase Blakely leading. Blakely from Leclerc. Lang is still right behind him. Colby Eaglin comes through in fourth. Carter, he just went down in fifth. As he remounts with Castaneda just getting there. So he will now begin to engage in a bit of a battle here with Castaneda. Also off the back of this group is Luke Magnetti. Magnetti tipped over exiting the first corner. So this is the first time we've seen him get up into the mix a little bit here. He's had a bit of a rough go. But now makes his way around Castaneda. Very nicely done. Seems as though Leclerc has started to stretch it back out on Lang. What's the gap to Blakely? Well, it's definitely shrunk quite a bit. I think Blakely must have gone down out front because suddenly it is only a 2-second gap. Leclerc and Lang are both coming too. Look at Lang. He wants a piece of Leclerc. He does not want to let the number one go. So this could very easily turn into a 3-rider battle for the lead before long. Speaking of Budds Creek First Moto, here is the man that won way back in 2014. Cody Penwell coming out in the chat right now. Hanging out, having a good time. Man, I haven't seen old Penwell in a while. Good to see you back, buddy. It says our battle in like 14 on this track. Yeah, that was indeed 2014. Good, sir. Leclerc to the outside, trying to get a drive on Blakely, and man, does he fly around the outside to take the lead momentarily. Blakely crosses the track and goes for Leclerc's front tire and goes down. I don't think he was trying to get Leclerc's front wheel. He just pushed the inside a little bit hard and then laid it down. Oh, now Leclerc slides out. So Lang has to avoid him, but now Lang has gone to the lead. So they're playing musical positions up here a little bit. Lang now leads from Leclerc and Blakely. And I think the gaps up front are as such. We should give you guys a top 20 rundown. This top 20 rundown is brought to you by atom.com. Head over to atom.com, ayetom.com, and check out his merch line to support Adam Holmes' career. Get into music. He's got a few EPs out, so check out what he's been producing. And obviously still racing and ripping here in this series, but not racing with us tonight by the looks of it. So Tyler Lang leads on the Underground RC number 14. Second is Alexis Leclerc on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna number 1. Third for Chase Blakely, the number 21 BPC Yamaha. And fourth is Braden Carter on the Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM, the number 19 machine. Fifth for the number 24 of Colby Eagland, Underground RC ride there. Sixth is Luke Magnetti on the BPC number 30 Yamaha. And seventh for Robert Wilson, the BPC ride as well on the 62. Eighth for Braden Castaneda, Underground RC number 63. Ninth is Jacob Hubbard on the Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM, the 11. 10th is Daniel Mills on the Jack Daniels Racing number 15. Janice coming through in 11th, I think. 11th here for Matthias Janice, Underground RC 130. And excuse me, I was wrong. Adam Holm is here tonight on the atom.com number 17. Bob Joe is in the points, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Joe on the 103. We haven't seen him much since he was a legend in Supercross. But he is out here tonight, absolutely crushing it. Dylan Smith behind him on the Jack Daniels Racing 132. I forget what position we're like. 14 now. That's the 732 actually. 15 for Kyle Carpenter on the 39 Tag Designs ride. 16th is Jeffrey Bruns, atom.com number 333. 17th for Jeremy Cohenauer on the number 15 MV Films ride. 18th is Andonia Ezcura on the Impact number 240. 19th for Aaron Rockefeller, the Underground RC number 800. And rounding out the points paying positions in 20th is Colton Mitchell on the Monkey Racing number 6. And back out front, it is still Lang from Leclerc. And it seems like the momentum between the two is kind of settled into pace here. 2:01.3 versus a 2 flat point 1. Lang has actually stretched it out on Leclerc a little bit. So are there any things drastic that Leclerc does? We'll have to see. He has been enjoying launching this leap from time to time, but he's not going to go for it this lap. Gap coming down a little bit. Leclerc to Lang. Past the 20-minute mark as well, so down into the final 10 minutes and 2 laps. Really down to the final 9 minutes and 2 laps, I should say. It's an interesting track for Leclerc, I feel like, because this is one of those tracks where he doesn't really get to use some of the same techniques that he's really honed in on, which is always lugging the bike, being in third gear pretty much every corner or something like that. It's a lot tighter, more technical, especially coming up into this section. So watch how he attacks it. Normally likes to lug the bike, but just listen. Like, all that right there was way more revving than you normally hear Leclerc get out of his Husqvarna 450. Still not going for the big send up this hill anymore. I think he's just trying to straight up slowly catch up to Lang here. It's not really working though. Lang 158.9 upped his pace, and Leclerc, he also upped it a little bit as well, but not enough to match what Lang's putting down out front, at least not yet. Young moves aside a 58.8 and a 58.4. So Lang, once again, upping his pace, has now produced yet another fast lap. Leclerc not really having much of an answer right now. They have dropped Chase Blakely, Carter, Colby Eaglin. They're all still pretty close together. Magnetti's right there. I mean, almost throw a blanket over 3 through 6 there, but out front, Lang has upped the pace, and it's been difficult for Leclerc to match. Pretty impressive. Not many people can do that. Lang has been dynamite this year. So good. Continuing to impress as the races go on, and now commands nearly, well, a little over a 4-second lead, I should say. Bold. Ryan G in chat says Leclerc will get him because he believes Lang might fall. Well, I do not know yet what is going to happen in this race. It may have happened a week and a half ago, but I still don't know. Leclerc now 3.6 seconds down. Just can't really seem to do much damage on that lead gap. Lang's pace has been pretty strong and so far unmatched. I feel like at this point it's going to come down to a mistake between one or the other. So who's going to crack first really is the question. Lang has been so solid. Leclerc has been right there, though, just waiting for the opportunity, and now it looks like he is even closer than he was before. It's not that close yet, but Leclerc is starting to maybe eat into it a little bit here. Dropping down off the top of the hill, Leclerc gets that power down. Now you can definitely see Lang in the picture. What is the gap at now? 1.5. He's cut it pretty much in half in this lap alone, so he has found the flow perhaps, or maybe Lang has made a couple mistakes. Off Henry Hill, down to the bottom again. Lang hopping into that corner, pushing his luck a little bit. Ryder down in the background. Oh, Leclerc was down on Henry Hill. And he was off the bike as well, because that is a lengthy time to lose there. So 10.8 down now. And that may have been the nail in the coffin, but Lang also not out of the water either. He's been making mistakes this race all the while, and now with about 3 minutes and 2 laps still to go, there is plenty left for things to get a little bit wild here. Carter, meanwhile, got around Blakely into third just to crash right away and allow Eaglin by. So Eaglin goes through, Magnetti up to fourth, Blakely back into fifth, and Carter is going to remount here in sixth. Then you got Daniel Mills 7th, Castaneda 8th, Wilson 9th, and Hubbard in 10th, who says, I definitely should check him out on the start in the second moto because there may or may not be some Larry loop out involved. We will have to see. Back to our lead, though. Lang getting into some lap traffic. One of them is a teammate, or both a teammate. Yeah, both are a teammate, actually. Rockefeller and Caleb Hall. Hall slaloming through the hay bales. Lang outside, pushes the rear end off the outside rut a little bit there. So Leclerc scrubs up the hill. Hamprig 15 in chat says Leclerc's girlfriend is playing right now. Wait till he picks up that controller. Funny stuff. All right, with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left on my clock, the stream clock is maybe a little bit fast right now. I believe we still only have now 3 to go because I don't think they're going to get around again in 1 minute and 20 seconds. So pressure cooker time for Lang, 8.8 seconds. Leclerc just burned down in 58 flat. Leclerc is definitely going to do whatever he can to inch up on these guys. Oh my goodness, Leclerc. Oh, how did he save that? Oh, Lang's down. Lang is down. He's going to pick up the bike. He is going to maintain the lead. Very fast fall-off crash. One of the fastest I feel like I've seen in a while. But Leclerc obviously also had to save a massive crash in the meantime, so that's probably why he didn't quite get to him. But now we have a battle on our hands as Hall going to move out of the way, let Leclerc go by. And Leclerc can now see Lang ahead of him. 2.5 laps to go here at Budds Creek 450 Moto 1. Lang getting kicked around at the bottom of the hill. And it is on. Lang versus Leclerc. Kind of the battle I think we all wanted to see here tonight. Oh, Leclerc landed opposite a bump right there, and it did not give him a very friendly kick. But he kept it up. Lang goes outside, Leclerc goes inside. They're kind of switching up lines a little bit, but then funnel back into the same double-double option out of the finish line. 2-lap board is out. And this race is on. Who is going to triumph in this one? Lang gets the rut a little bit wrong, then Leclerc gets the rut a lot of wrong, but they stay pretty close together regardless. So Lang goes third rut, Leclerc goes first rut. And they funnel into the same one here. Then you want to hug through this inside rut all the way through. Charge to the outside. Hook that outside one well. And then drop back down back here. Lap rider down. Nicely out of the way, though. Lang, got to be careful and flirt with the edge of the track. Third rut. Leclerc second. Nothing in it between these two, and another 24 seconds back to Eaglin behind Leclerc. Man, Lang got that corner good, though. Stretched it out a little bit on the Frenchman. Can't even see Leclerc, and actually Leclerc just went down. Oh, Leclerc landed sideways off the top of the hill. And that might be the end of it, though, but we'll see. Lang is had his share of mistakes, and as we come down to the white flag this time by, he's not out of the woods just yet. Ah, now he is. Leclerc is down again. Wow, did he get up and crash like 50 feet later? Yeah, wow. Weird. Double crash there for Leclerc. Back to the battle for third now. Eaglin versus Magnetti. Eaglin trying to get a nose up the inside. I'm sorry, Magnetti, excuse me, trying to get a nose up the inside of Eaglin, I should say. White flag just waved now there for laying out front. So Magnetti was right on Eaglin, and Eaglin starting to get away. I almost wonder if Magnetti had gotten into third and then Eaglin got him back, or maybe Magnetti just got close there and then made a couple of quick mistakes and he's about to reel him back in again. This is going to be a good fight to the flag for third. Magnetti pushing the front wheel out of the rut. And that might be just enough for Eaglin to sneak away here on this last lap. It is still Carter in P5. Blakely 6th. Mills 7th. Hubbard and Castaneda side by side for 8th. Castaneda with a cross jump and a half. And it goes down, so Hubbard crosses here in 8th. Castaneda drifts back to 9th. And then Wilson here in 10th with Adam Holm right behind him. So there's going to be some good fights to the flag here in a lap's time. Meanwhile, out front, though, Lang hitting Henry Hill for the final time here. Down through the bottom past the mechanics area one final time. And up to that final corner. Tyler Lang has survived a barrage of attacks that Alexis Leclerc gave him. And Tyler Lang is going to take 450 Moto 1 here at Budds Creek. Leclerc will end up in second. Eaglin third. Magnetti right there on fourth, trying to get to Eaglin one last time. And it'll be a third for Eaglin, a fourth for Magnetti. Carter looking to get fifth. Blakely should pick up sixth. Mills 7th. Hubbard over the line here in 8th. Adam Holm has moved up to 9th. Still has Robert Wilson right on him, though. Wilson trying to close up on the 62. Big scrub over Henry Hill behind Holm, trying to get a little bit closer. Maybe have a shot at a last turn dive bomb. But at this stage, it doesn't look like it's possible. Maybe just get close and hope for some cuts then, as they have actually caught up to, that's not D Mills. It's one of their teammates still on the Jack Daniels Racing team. Is that Kerr? Is that Dylan Smith maybe? Over the finish line jump, Adam Holm goes to end up 9th. 10th for Robert Wilson. 11th goes to Castaneda. Nice ride here for Andonias Cura to get up to 12th. We saw him at in 19th at the halfway point, so surge forward. Kyle Carpenter will get 13th in this one. Matthias Janis will end up 14th. Bob Joe ends up here in 15th, and the final rider on the lead lap, Colton Mitchell, 16th. Jeffrey Bruns ends up 17th. 18th for Dylan Smith. 19th for Jeremy Komenauer, and 20th was Aaron Rockefeller. So we wait for just Mitchell to end up finishing this one. All right, cuts are now in. Take a look. Ooh, Carter got around Blakely on cuts for 5th. The rest stays the same. Lang, your big winner here in 450 Moto 1. All right, let's reset the track and get Moto 2 up. All right, 450 Moto 2 coming up here from Budds Creek, the recasted race of Budds Creek, and then we will be back on schedule. If you're just joining us, the MX Simulator Grand Prix of Portugal unfortunately needed to be postponed tonight. There were some server issues that was causing an issue there for the RaceFactory Gaming team. So they'll update us at a later date on when that race will be reran. Of course, we will broadcast it as well when it ends up being reran. But that is why we are now rebroadcasting Budds Creek. How is everybody in chat doing tonight, though? Good to see some of you guys still hanging around. Hopefully you're having a good night wherever you are. When's the next MXS GP? Well, there's a constant scroll across the bottom of your screen to let you guys know what the broadcast schedule coming up is. So at least for right now, the next MX Simulator Grand Prix that we will be broadcasting will be next Monday, September 6th, which is going to be the Argentinian MXGP. It was supposed to be the final round of MXS GP, but we're not sure whether or not it will be at this point or whether it will end up being a race that ends up being round 11, and then round 12 will be the makeup race from Portugal. All right, here we go. Final race of the night from Budds Creek. It's 450 Moto 2 now. And there was Hubbard's loop out. That was very obvious, as into the first corner was Leclerc. Carter says, no, sir, but it will be Leclerc officially picking up the Studio 8 hole shot award by a nose. Carter trying to get up the inside to take the lead, and he will do so. Nice move by the 19 machine, and he goes to the front. Braden Carter leads lap number 1 here at Budds Creek. Leclerc second, Castaneda third, Lang up there in 4th, Holm with a good start in 5th. So some of the heavy hitters getting good starts. Castaneda goes down, unfortunately, and it promotes Lang and Holm up to 3rd and 4th, respectively. Now as they chase down Leclerc, Carter trying to get away out front. Caucasian J says, hey Kellen, so I'm catching up on races and I noticed a lot of riders changed teams. Do you know why? Honestly, the team hopping in this game has always been massive. I'm not sure why. I think there's just a lot of like people hunt around for certain skins and then get on that team and realize it's not what they want, so then they change halfway through the season. I'm constantly getting new packs sent to me like every week. I feel like I get like 8 or 9 Discord messages every week with new packs, updated packs, whatever. So it's just because these guys they don't like what they have, or they feel they want to move to a different team or something like that, and that is why you end up having riders team hop so much. It's nothing new or different, it just happens. So I guess the anomalies in this game are the ones that don't do it. Leclerc has been very true with Arminas Jasikonis over the years, and he's stuck with this Rockstar and G Husqvarna team for a long time. And then another thing too is that you end up having guys that maybe don't team hop or crew hop, if you will. They just change the team name to something different. So sometimes you have like 2 or 3 different teams over the 2 or 3 year span, but you end up with the same riders and guys. So anyway, just what happens. Either way, Carter went down, so Leclerc has assumed the race lead, but Tyler Lang already right on him and not want to let him go. Yeah, it was a lot of Covenant. Now it's a lot of Underground RC. It's not all the same riders. Some of them have switched teams straight up, and then it turned into this team. But I get where you're coming from. Hampreek says, do they use the same bikes, just different skins? Mostly yes. A lot of riders use the FC 450 2018 dyno. Some guys use the CRF 450 2018 dyno. But mostly everybody's using like at most 3 different bike dynos and then just putting different skins on them. So power delivery wise, a lot of these guys experiencing the same thing. It often comes down to a good suspension setup as well to make you feel comfortable on the bike. But yes, most of these guys are on the same dyno, just different bike skins. Back to the battle for the lead, though. Leclerc versus Lang. It feels like we just picked up right where we left off at the end of the first 450 moto there. Only difference is Leclerc is leading and Lang is doing the chasing. So this is a bit new territory for both of them after that first moto. Leclerc launching to the bottom of the hill, carrying speed around the corner, pulling away from Lang. It's Adam Holm up to 3rd. Colby Eagland in 4th. Caleb Hall is in 5th. Jeremy Cohenauer is in 6th. Chase Blakely runs 7th. Andonias Kura in 8th. Matthias Janis in 9th. And Hubbard rounds out the top 10. So, hey, Hubbard looped out on the starting gate and went down. He's already inside of the top 10. Can't be all bad, I suppose. Who's the rider down? Nobody, it looks like. Good start here for Andonias Kura. I'm kind of excited to see what he can do with a good start because he has not had many of those since he's come over from the EU series to start racing in the NA stuff. Nope, these dynos don't cost money. I paused. Does it pause the demo? Nope. So if I was to select a bike right now, up here is all these dynos that we're talking about. So a lot of guys ride this CRF 450 2018. A lot of guys ride this FC 450 2018. I know a couple of people that ride either the Yamaha or the KTM. Not many people riding the KX or the Suzuki. It often just boils down to dyno charts and feel and comfort. The FC 450 delivers the highest end of power. CRF 450 a lot of people think is the smoothest, but these are the dynos. So this all comes stock with the game. It comes down to like purchasing bike models and stuff like that that are what people are selling. Like this Cowie is a custom-made model that somebody made. I don't know if anybody's actually selling the Cowie. I don't remember what model that is anymore. What's up, Fran Bruno? Says, hi, bro. I'm from Argentina. Cheers. So my response is, I'm from the United States. And cheers right back to you, good sir. I don't have a beverage to cheers with. But thanks for tuning in. Josh Doherty says, who's faster, NA or EU? I mean, generally speaking, the NA series is the elite series. The EU series has actually, unfortunately, kind of struggled to get a lot of riders to show up to it of late. Kind of fizzled out, I think. I mean, arguably the greatest racer of all time, the man you're watching right here, is from the EU. He races in the NA series, obviously, but he is French. And when this race happens, when he's joining us in chat right now, he is in France. So it's super early in the morning, and he's racing these races. I've always commended him for doing that. But, yeah, I would say the NA series is considered more elite, faster, etc. Look at that move for Blakely around the outside of Caleb Hall, going up big gulp. Dualies. Blakely trying to get up the inside. Is he going to make it happen? Yes, he will. Nice move. And love the dualies as well. Good stuff. Here's Eaglin on home. I think this is Eaglin catching Holm. I don't remember who was in front of who. I believe Holm's been ahead the whole time. So this is funneling into a battle for third now. They're both slowly losing ground to Lang and Leclerc out front each lap. 2:01.2 for Holm, 1:59.8 Colby Eaglin. So Eaglin's definitely been catching these guys. A 57.7 out of Lang, a 57.4 out of Leclerc. 4.6 seconds in it, but this battle for third is the one to watch. '42 Tour says, hey, it's Cole. What do you think helps with being consistent? Seat time in the game, honestly, controller time, whatever you want to call it, definitely helps you be able to do stuff repetitively. If you're still in the learning phase of the game, my advice for consistency is don't go for big stuff. In Supercross, don't go for that triple into a section. Don't do, some ridiculous quad. Don't try to jump onto a table that's really hard to get. Do consistent lines. Double, single over table instead of going on off or something, silly like that. Just try to do stuff that you can consistently do. And then once you keep doing that stuff and getting a feel for it and getting a little bit better and starting to feel the flow, then you can start every once in a while stretching out that triple in, stretching out onto a tabletop or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, my guess or my advice would be do the stuff you know how to do slowly and build up to a certain speed, and that's how you work on consistency, I should say. Lucas Becker says, don't you work for RacerX Online IRL? Yes, I do. I'm the online content editor at RacerX Illustrated. So, by day, my boss is Jason Wygant, my coworker Mitch Kendra. We all team up to work on the website that you guys see at racerxonline.com every week. And by night, I turn into Game Lord. And stream these races, play video games, upload to SYS, etc., etc. You're watching me when you turn away for a second and hear dualies. Indeed, yes, I do love a good dualies yell. By the way, dualies, I feel like oftentimes or sometimes maybe I get credited with like coming up with yelling that phrase or something like that. I did not come up with the phrase. I didn't come up with yelling the phrase. I just loved when my buddy Mikey Owen, who always was the one that said it, did it, so I've carried it on into my broadcast career, if you will. and still give credit to Mikey whenever I can for the way that he emphatically called it. I know other people have said dualies over the years, but Mikey was very funny with the way that he called it, so I tried to carry that same energy into it. Yeah, I absolutely watched Iron Man over the weekend. It was very good, crazy battles. Adam Holm and Colby Eaglin have been going at it for third for a long time. Jared Cox says, how come you don't do the race reviews for motocross like you do supercross? I want to do them. Honestly, the reason I've cut out pretty much all content creation on SYS is because I've been very busy this summer, and I really need to just have a fresh reset as Eaglin pulls up alongside Holm. Kind of dualies, little scrub dualies. And Holm stays ahead. Wow. I thought that was Eaglin's pass for sure. But anyway, yeah, I just got super busy with my job. This summer has been hectic with it all, and you know, family life as well, trying to still be there for my wife and my daughter and everything. So I haven't gotten around to producing the content that I like to, and because of that, I kind of cut out a lot of the stuff that I did pretty consistently, like those race reviews. But I'm going to bring them back for Supercross, I promise. This is just a brief hiatus to kind of reset my batteries a little bit. Man, this battle is relentless. They've kind of caught Lang a little bit, too. I'm not sure if Lang went down, but Leclerc has kind of snuck away. But Eaglin and Holm, they've just been nose to tail for like 6 laps, it feels like. Hampreek says, do you think MX Bikes will have a series like this someday? They already do. There's a lot of different series being ran in MX Bikes. Some of them are like full-blown replicas. Some of them are just like fun series. But yes, I think the end goal for them is to work towards like an official week-to-week race series similar to this. Matt Edwards and then Michael LaCour also said, Matt Edwards said, these races were from 2-ish weeks ago, right? Michael LaCour says, wait, I thought Buds on Sim already happened. Yes, it did. KR Money streamed it live when it did happen. Let me tell you the exact date it had happened. It happened on August 18th. As finally Holm lays it down, and that's going to be what finally broke the camel's back there as Eaglin goes up to third. But it did happen on August 18th, and I was very sick that day, so I could not stream it. My plan was to make it up before the Ironman National last week, but then I streamed all day Tuesday and lost my voice, so I could not stream it last Wednesday, so I pushed it, and I was going to actually stream it tomorrow night, but then the Portuguese Grand Prix got canceled tonight, so I moved up the recast of it to tonight, which is why we are currently watching Budds Creek and not Portugal. That is my story, and I am sticking to it. Cody Bike says, I'm playing the demo of MX Sim on MacBook. Can I download skins for demo or connect controller? No, you cannot download skins for the demo. Yes, you should be able to connect a controller. It's just easy, like plugging in a USB. So as long as you have a something to plug into your USB port. Matt Edwards also says, excited for Supercross going into races? Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for Supercross. Looking forward to like getting back to a regular season, if you will, and having more or less all the normal rounds that we do have. I know some cities got kind of boofed off the schedule, and I know some people were unhappy about that, but we're back to all the Anaheims. We're back to going to, you know, Salt Lake City and you know, some stadiums that we missed out on last year and stuff like that. So looking forward to it. My tentative plan right now is at least go to all the first 6 Supercross rounds, working for Racer X. So A1, Oakland, A2, Phoenix, and then A3 because they're having a third one, and then San Diego. So I'm going to go to all those because I'm based in California. So pretty easy to make it to all those. And then after that, whichever ones they want me to go to. Lucas Becker, we were to the left of the podium, and right before 250 Moto 1, people put a tent up in front of us, blocked literally everyone's view in the second turn. Oh, that sucks. I don't really like the whole people can like come early and like stake out areas early in the day at the racetrack. Like, I'm always there way early before almost anybody at the track anyway, and I see these people out there like laying out these huge areas along the fence line or on the hillside. It's like, I mean, it sucks because like back in the day everybody was so much more like, yeah, come get up the fence line, like let your little kid up here, stuff like that. And nowadays it seems like everybody's so like, no, this is my spot, I got here early, you didn't, this is my spot. I don't like people that do that. It kind of sucks in my opinion, but I mean, whatever. I guess that's the way it works. Ryan Bency, sorry if I'm saying your name right, says, how does one get into this? Check out RaceFactoryGaming.com. They are the entity that runs this whole series. If you don't have MX Simulator already, check out MXSimulator.com. Get the demo. If you like the demo, get the game. Once you get the game, put about 1,000 hours into it, and you might be good enough to race RaceFactory Gaming competition. But RaceFactoryGaming.com is where you go. They the ones that give out the licenses. They're the ones that run the amateur races that precede these pro races if you want to move up to the amateur ranks as well. But they have all the information there. What is up, Opinio Bros? How you doing tonight? Matt Edwards says, if you're in Oakland, would you be able to meet fans, or would you be reporting to work? No, absolutely. I mean, I love meeting up with you guys at the races and talking moto, talking video games, whatever it is you want to talk about. So at any point during the day, I always try to sneak away from my computer if I can to come talk to you guys. Sometimes, yes, I am too busy. I'm caught up, you know, in the workflow essentially. But as much as I possibly can, I try to sneak away and get out and if someone wants to hang out, I'd like to hang out. Absolutely. Valter Neto says, you believe MX Bikes or MX Simulator comes to PS4 Xbox? No, I don't. Both of them being simulator games are a hard sell on PS4 Xbox. There's a reason iRacing is not on PS4 Xbox. Simulated games just don't work on console, period. They don't sell very well. They don't get to have like the modded stuff that keeps these games going. None of the stuff that you're seeing right here, none of this stuff on your screen would exist on the console version of MX Simulator, because JLB doesn't have the rights to have Budds Creek in his game. He doesn't have the rights to have a Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in the game. All these things that we're looking at are user-created things which can't happen on console. So to make these games as legit as they are, as fun as they are, as interactive as they are, I guess, they have to be on PC because you can mod all these files. So that's why, I mean, really it's just never going to happen, I think, that you see a simulated game end up on console, unfortunately. Let's go through the field a little bit here, give you guys a top 20 rundown brought to you by R Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com, eatrjerky.com, and use the code SYS20 for 20% off your order when you check out there. And yeah, they have a great assortment of beef jerky, lots of really good flavors, definitely would recommend. And please go purchase from them to support them, because they support us, and the people that support us support MX Simulator. So we thank R Jerky for coming on board this year. They bring you guys this top 20 rundown. Alexis Leclerc, the #1 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, leads here at Budds Creek. Tyler Lang, who won the first moto on the Underground RC #14, runs in second. Third for Colby Eagland, his teammate on the 24. And fourth is now Chase Blakely on the #21 BPC Yamaha. Fifth, Adam Holm on the atom.com #17. It's sixth for Matthias Janis on the Underground RC 130. Seventh, the number 30, Luke Magnetti on the BPC Yamaha. Eighth for Andoni Ezcura, the Frenchman, on the Impact #240. Ninth for Jacob Hubbard on the Phils KTM #11. And 10th, Kyle Carpenter, K-Carp on the Tiger Designs #39. 11th, Caleb Hall, Underground RC 561. 12th for Brayden Carter on the 19 Phils KTM. 13th, Jeremy Cohenauer on the MV Films 20. 14th for Braden Castaneda on the Underground RC #63. 15th, matching his number, Daniel Mills on the #15 Jack Daniels Racing Husqvarna. 16th for Austin Bear on the Phil's KTM number 944. 17th for Jeffrey Bruns on the atom.com number 333. 18th is Robert Wilson on the BPC number 62. 19th for Dylan Smith, JDR number 732. And 20th is Bob Joe on the 103. That's a top 20 rundown brought to you by R Jerky. Good battles throughout the field to go through. Back to Leclerc out front, though. Hadley Gainford says, how many hours do you have on MX Bikes and or MX Sim? Can promise you MX Sim is like 1,000 times more than I have on bikes. I have a decent amount on bikes. I got pretty good at the game, but Sim, I've been playing for pretty much a decade straight. Bought it in 2012. It's now late 2021. So yeah, I mean, I was a pro at one point. I used to play daily, several hours a day to be able to maintain my pro status. So yeah, I don't know. If someone asked this question earlier, I would be shocked if I don't have like 4,000 or 5,000 hours put into this game. Just seems like I put enough to get to that point. I don't know why my nose is so runny right now. Sorry for the stuffiness. Ryan Bensey says, how did you get your job working for such a big moto company? First off, I went to college, got a degree in communication studies with an emphasis in journalism. I minored in philosophy, so that helped a ton. But the reality is, I was a big moto enthusiast. I ran a blog that in like 2010, 2011, I basically just covered some moto stuff. I started my own company in 2012 called Motocross In Depth. Ran it for about a year, then got picked up by Verb Moto. Worked at Verb Moto from the end of 2012 until it went out of business in 2017 as the social media director and staff writer. So ran their social accounts and wrote some stories for Verb. So picked up experience there, plus college degree. Tried to get back into the industry after Verb went out of business, but some of the opportunities I had either weren't what I wanted or weren't, they didn't want me. So ended up out of the industry for a little while. Obviously, I'd been working on SYS the whole time, started it in 2014. And the way I got hooked up with Racer X, actually, it's a funny story. It's a great story, I think. Jason Wygant's kid, Lane, who is now 7, I believe, is a big fan of SYS. So he used to watch SYS all the time at home, and Weege would put it on for him. And I interviewed to work for Racer X back in 2017, so Weege already kind of knew who I was, Jason Wygant, that is. And after a while, after having a son like listen to SYS and listen to me, he's like, man, this guy really knows his stuff, I guess. Like, I didn't realize how in-depth he followed the sport and all this, because I used to do those race reviews. So he actually reached out to me at the end of 2019 and just kind of like asked like what I'm doing and what's my story and stuff like that. And, told him, we talked on the phone for like an hour, and I didn't really expect anything of it. He was kind of like, yeah, we're looking to maybe shake things up at the office and bring in some fresh faces and maybe some people to help out with some stuff. So I figured that if anything, I'd end up being a part-time worker for Racer X. But then, yeah, I got a call from him like 2 weeks later, and he's like, hey, we want to offer you this full-time position. And I was like, oh, okay, like mind blown. So yeah, it's honestly a dream come true for me. It's what I always wanted out of my career. So love every day that I get to work with the people that I get to work with. It still does blow my mind that, yes, I log in every day at work, and if I get on a call with my coworkers, I'm literally talking to Jason Wygant and like just him and like my other coworker Mitch. Like, seriously, it's just us. Being able to work with Weege every day is a blast, and I definitely feel very lucky that I ended up in this position. It was a lot of hard work, no question. Like, I didn't just luck into it, I feel like. But yeah, that's how I got to where I am. Do you watch the Australian motocross and supercross? When I can. Not all of those obviously are like very well televised or broadcasted or anything like that. And of late, they've also been going through all the COVID lockdowns and stuff again, so no racing to watch right now. But when it is on, when there is racing, I do my best to follow it, get results, watch a live feed if there is one, look at highlight videos, etc., etc. So I won't say I'm a religious watcher of Australian Supercross and Motocross, but I do what I can to watch it. Thanks, guys, so much for the questions. During these recast races where they're maybe not as action-packed, it's always fun to interact more with you guys. Man, my nose is so stuffy. Not really a whole lot of battling going on through the field either. In fact, is anybody even close together? Not really, huh? Leclerc's like 25 seconds ahead, and then Lang is pretty much all by himself. Holm is kind of close to Eaglin, but not really. Magnetti is a few seconds ahead of his teammate Blakely. They're fairly close as Kura. He's also not that far back of those guys. Neither is Janice, but nobody's really like on each other, I guess. Carter, he just went down. Caleb Hall is pretty far back. Castaneda, Cohenauer, Mills and Wilson, they're pretty close. Maybe our closest battle inside of the points even. Some of these guys back here being lapped as well. Leclerc is... oh, he's on the other half of the track. So what is he lapped up to then? Who's that right behind him? Caleb Hall in 12th. So Leclerc is lapped up to 12th. Go on board with him and watch these last few laps coming into fray here. Pinio Bros says, did you ever think becoming a pro MX racer? Or you never think of that? No, absolutely. I mean, I think every single one of us at some point when we were a kid just wanted to race pro motocross and supercross. And, you know, I grew up racing and riding and loving it. And honestly, the reality was I didn't have the talent or the drive, I guess, to do it. Like, I was never going to make it as a pro motocrosser because I didn't have that like burning desire to do it, and I wasn't really talented enough to do it in the first place. Like, I started kind of late by most kids' standards. I didn't start actually riding and racing until I was 7, and then I just didn't really develop speed-wise very quick. Like, I guess I could have kept at it and gotten good into my 20s and maybe still had a shot at racing into my late 20s or something like that, but I realized pretty young I wasn't ever going to be the speed that these guys can go IRL. So honestly, I took journalism classes in high school when I was only 14 because I expected, like, I was already pre-planning career-wise where I was going to go. Like, I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to work in the media. Like, I had a pretty specific plan with my life when I was still just in the high school pretty much. So pretty quickly gave up on the idea of racing pro and pretty early came up with the idea of covering the pros, if that makes sense. Oh, Leclerc down with the lead right before that finish line jump here, but he is still going to get up with the lead. He was pretty far out front. I do keep track of Canadian motocross as well. Yep. It's kind of the same story with Australia. Don't always watch every single thing about it or every stream, but I try to when I have time available to. And obviously we have to know at least a little bit about Canada and stuff to cover that side of the sport. So Leclerc, I think, did he get the 2-lap board? I think he may have just got it by crashing before the finish line jump. It was very close. But I think it is 2 laps to go here at Budds Creek, wrapping up our night of the recasted Budds Creek National. Lang, Eagland, Holm, Magnetti inside of the top 5. Still everybody pretty separated. Looks like Caleb Hall and Braden Castaneda exchanging pleasantries as Leclerc goes by. Their 13th is Castaneda. Caleb Hall is in 12th. Storming down the hill here. Big scrub up the hill for Castellaneta and a nice little scrub over the top there as well. It's honestly, I don't think there's an age associated with getting onto a big bike, because I think it's more about height and size. I don't think you should be on a super mini if you're 6 feet, for example, even a big wheel. But there's also the right age, I guess. If you're 6 feet at like 11 or 12 years old, then yes, probably stay on a super mini. But the point is, you want to be the size that fits the function of the motorcycle that you're going to. So if you're jumping up to a big bike from a super mini and you're only 4'8" and you weigh like a 100 pounds soaking wet or something like that, you are not the size for that bike. You're too small still. You don't have the strength and the power to control that type of motorcycle, in my opinion. So that's why I would say it more has to do with your size than it does your age. Kane Bellinger, do you think I will get to pro if I start racing at 20 to 22 years old? It's not impossible, so I'm not going to say there's no chance, but it is a very slim chance, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of years. Here's the caveat, I guess. If you're 20 years old, let's say, and you're just starting to race right now, if you could ride every single day for the next like 3 or 4 years, every single day, have like a private track in your backyard that you can change all the time, make stuff bigger, challenge yourself, then yes, I do think you could eventually get good enough to race pro. But I think the barrier to entry there is if you're only 20 and you're just starting to race and you weekend warrior it, maybe even if you go 40 times a year, you're still not going to get the lifelong experience some of the guys you would end up racing against have gotten. And that's what's the tough part. Could you get a pro license and, maybe, qualify for a national or two? Yes, but I mean, it is so tough. They're the best in the world for a reason, honestly. All right, here we go. Final couple straightaways here. Leclerc has done it here in Moto 2 at Budds Creek. Lang gets the first moto, steals some points back towards Leclerc. Leclerc steals them right back in the second moto. Alexis Leclerc is not going to win the Budds Creek National just yet. And now he's going to win the Budds Creek National. Look at that. Waiting at the flag, just having a good time. Tyler Lang will indeed end up second, which will be second overall in the day. 1-2 to 2-1. As he comes down through the final corner here. And scrub-a-dub-dubs to the finish. Little Oppo flare whip there over the line. Colby Eagland. He'll end up third in this one. Couldn't end up getting to Lang, but he did hold off Holm, who eventually closed up a little bit from fourth. Chase Blakely coming through the roller section here in fifth. Will get fifth. His teammate Magnetti slipped behind him to sixth. Matthias Janis in seventh, ahead of Andonia Ezcurra in eighth. Jacob Hubbard in ninth. Robert Wilson trying to go around the outside. Is that Jeffrey Bruns on the lead lap too? No, that is, so Hubbard is just ninth by himself. Brandon Carter is 10th by himself. Carpenter 11th by himself. Caleb Hall has already finished. Castellaneta has already finished as well in 13th. Daniel Mills was 14th. 15th was Jeremy Cohenauer. 16th for Bob Joe. 17th for Reed Young. 18th was Aaron Rockefeller. 19th will be Jeffrey Bruns. And Dylan Smith rounds out the points paying positions. Robert Wilson looks like he fell right before the flag there, and that might have cost him a shot at points. We got riders down. That's Carter. Not sure who he's down with there, but that allows Kyle Carpenter kind of sneak up into the picture here a little bit. All right, Magnetti says, peep that last lap burner. What'd he put down? Oh, my God, a 56.6? That's the fastest lap of the entire race on the last lap of the race? Come on, Magnetti. The drip is too legit right now, dude. Are you serious? All right, let's take a look at cuts after they have come through. Looks like Reed Young leapfrog Bob Joe for 16th. and the rest stays the same. Leclerc, your big winner tonight here at Budds Creek. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that has been the rebroadcast of the Budds Creek National in MX Simulator. We are now fully caught up with the streams. As a reminder, the MX Simulator Grand Prix Portugal was canceled tonight, or at least postponed for the time being. Server issues is what forced that, and that's why we recasted Budds Creek tonight. I was going to do it tomorrow night, but moved it up to tonight, so got that done already. We will keep you updated as much as we can for when Portugal will happen. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday night for round 11 of the RaceFactory Gaming National Championship from Fox Raceway, the second of the 2 Fox Raceway Nationals on the year. So that's going to be a lot of fun to broadcast that, and hopefully we see all of you guys there. Big thanks to everybody that joined us in chat all night long, kept me entertained with your enthusiastic questions and chatting, as well as rjerkyatom.com and of course racefactorygaming.com for all helping put this on and being a part of the team that makes this happen every week and every year. So thanks guys so much for tuning into the recast of the Budds Creek National, and we look forward to seeing you guys in all of our future videos here on the channel. But Kellen signing off for the night, and we'll see you guys next time. So long for now.